your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
Yes. On a Thursday, Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And boy, oh boy, what a Thursday it is going to be. Shout out to Friday Eve. Some of you may have already been paid. Some of you are about to get paid tomorrow. Some of you will have to wait till next week, but that's okay. When you do get paid, be sure to treat yourself. And we are going to treat you to an outstanding show for the next 4 hours. Kyle Ledbetter is behind the glass, of course. And we are ready to rock and roll. And with that being said, there is money being thrown around in the NBA. How does that pertain to some of the contracts the Kings are waiting, we think, to shell out for the Keon Ellises of the world, for the Keegan Murrays of the world, a path for Keon and a future path for somebody like Nick Clifford. We also have our newest edition of Christie's Cuts coming from training camp. And I must say, we talked a lot about the coach speak yesterday and how you have to sift through a lot of it. Yesterday, we spent a lot of time on pace, right? And if I'm not mistaken, the Knicks were 23 in pace last season. You know where I'm going with this. I get home, I'm on my phone, of course, and what do I see? Mike Brown and the Knicks running up and down the court, and Knicks fans are salivating. They were tired of the Jalen Brunson all-day thing. They were tired of it. Now, I don't know that Mike Brown – actually, I do know. Mike Brown isn't necessarily known as this offensive guru, but he has kind of created this calling card with the flow offense and moving things back and forth quickly. We got to see if they don't revert back to what they typically do. But my point is, sometimes it's not about the message. It's about the messenger. And if the Knicks already – can manage to look a little bit different, and I've said it's going to make OG Anunoby look better as far as shooting the basketball, keep guys in rhythm like Mikal Bridges, who struggled last season shooting the basketball, even a Josh Hart. There's no time to think about whether you're a brick or not. You're just shooting the basketball because it's the right basketball play. And if they're able to do it in just a couple days, training camp just started, then I believe that Doug Christie, Scott Perry, and this emphasis on pace can also translate to the Kings. And a guy like DeMar DeRozan, he can figure out how to fit into that offense. We spent some time defending DeMar DeRozan yesterday because a lot of people continue to say he just wants to put up his shots, he just wants to chuck, he wants to slow everything down. But last season, that was kind of what they needed. Keegan, you got to shoot more. Zach LaVine still finding his footing. They blew up the team. They were all just running around. They basically ever been to, and I don't hoop no more. I got the Achilles. I'm trying to make my way back, maybe one day. And Kyle, I know he plays a ton of pickup. It was basically pickup basketball. It was. There were some sets that they left from Mike Brown and some hybrid sets that I'm sure Doug Christie entered in. You had dudes leaving for Florida State. You had dudes leaving for Utah. It was a complete disaster. So now they come in with an actual purpose. It ain't pickup basketball anymore. And what happens in pickup basketball? You give the ball to your best player and you get the bleep out the way. And that's what the Kings did last season. Hopefully it won't be like that. I think there is a part of the thought process with not extending Keegan to see what he looks like in a contract year. I really do. Now, do you want to take that chance? I think, if anything, and I know a lot of teams don't have cap space, but in this new world, doesn't it feel like a fairly safe? And I know Keegan is the type of guy that a lot of teams would be interested in, but depending on the price tag, based on what we just saw, and I understand teams didn't have cap space, doesn't it seem like that would be a fairly safe bet if you're Scott Perry? Are you really afraid that some team is going to price you out of Keegan Murray, even if he has a career season? And if so, you can just match them. So the more I think about it with Keegan, maybe let's see. Maybe let's put his feet to the fire. And maybe you tell him that. You know, Scott Perry, he's been very transparent. We've said that word 8,000 times in my first week back here. And there's a world where he says, look, Keegan, we want to see you take that next step. It might even lead to your extension or what we sign you for in restricted free agency being more. But we want to see how you're going to fit into this. We want to know that when we do move on from DeMar DeRozan, when we ultimately move on from Zach LaVine, that we have at least a second option with you and we can go out and get somebody else, or a very high-level third option. Maybe there's a world where that's the case. What I've learned from this past offseason is that nobody wants to spend money. So Scott Perry, and I know Keon Ellis is an unrestricted free agent, maybe he just feels, I'll take these gambles because nobody want to pay nobody anyway. So why not? Why not? So we're going to discuss all that. We have a training camp day 2 recap. Did the Kings make a mistake this summer focusing so much on Kuminga? So we do have Kuminga talk, but it's not the way you think. I saw somebody say this yesterday, and it kind of piqued my interest. And the Club 520 podcast and all the good stuff that they do, Jeff Teague and the crew, they're going through all of the different teams. And they discuss how the Kings didn't really address the 4 position. And Keegan is ultimately going to continue the 4 position. Now, Keegan probably still would have played 4 even if they got Kuminga, but you get somebody like Kuminga in there, and we understand why they were interested. But the question is, if you look around the league and you look around who was available, did the Kings make a mistake this summer spending too much time on Jonathan Kuminga? Somebody said that, and I saw it on a comment on just a random thread, and I thought, I never thought about it like that. Right now, for me, not necessarily wanting to give up too much to make this iteration of the Kings better, I don't really mind it. But if you are somebody that, I was talking to Christopher Laud yesterday, we were just talking about Kings fandom and how much people do yearn just to be in the playoffs. I'm sure there are a lot of fans out there that wish that they did add and they did improve more so than what they did. We spent this offseason. Keegan still don't have an extension. Keon could hit unrestricted free agency. I just said they're gambles that maybe Scott Perry's willing to take. And on the other end, we spent the rest of the offseason talking about Jonathan Kuminga when the Warriors knew it was a bit of a pipe dream. They knew they wanted to retain him because they think they're getting Jokic or Giannis. And who else did we spend it talking about? Russell Westbrook. That wasn't by choice. I didn't want to be fighting with Russell Westbrook fans, but these were the reports. Did they spend their summer the right way? This is Scott Perry's first summer. We all are happy with what they did in the draft. But besides that, when it comes to what they did throughout the rest of the offseason, did they do the right thing? Would you have gone about it differently? Did they hang on to the Jonathan Kuminga thing too long? You check in, you knew you weren't giving up Keon. That was reported. You knew you weren't giving up Keegan. The same way, and look, I don't want to give kudos to the Warriors, but they knew you're looking at, we got to give them a little bit more cash, right? $8 million raised, whatever it is. This is Joe Lacob. That's funny money to Joe Lacob, right? Steph Curry made that place $1 billion industry. They're talking about making Great America and making a whole bunch of different amusement parks that are Warriors themed. It's insane. They're not tripping off $8 million. So they knew that Jonathan Kuminga was not going to say no to a deal. They might have to up it a little bit, but he was not going to say no to a deal, and he didn't. So with that being said, the Kings continuing to check in. They were unwilling to move some things, which I think that was the right thing to do. Did they spend their summer the right way? You know, when you used to be in school and sometimes you'd have to read a book, and I hated that, man. Can we just enjoy summer? You used to be in school and you'd have to read a book as you're getting ready to go back to school. I'm just saying, I like school when I'm in school, right? Hey, have this book read by the time you get back to class. What kind of mess is that?
Sounds like you didn't really like school.
What kind of mess is that? School hasn't started yet. I hope they don't even still do that. I will read those books. And it's not that I'm not reading books. I want to read, back in my day, Captain Underpants, things like that. That's what I want to read. I don't want to read your book to get ready for a book report. School ain't even started yet.
Kids don't read anymore,
No,
Alan.
probably not. They got audiobooks. So how did you spend your summer? I get into class. I'm talking to people. Did y'all read the book? Did y'all read the book? Some of them read the book. Some of them read the book. Did you spend your summer the correct way? So we're going to spend some time on that. Niners, Rams, man, oh man. Look, dude, I told y'all 2 years ago, I had Brock Purdy number 7 on my quarterback list, all right? Yesterday, we talked about whether or not he was, quote-unquote, injury prone. If Mac Jones pulls this off today, number one, Mac Jones has already accomplished the last chance you effect that the Niners give to all of these different quarterbacks. Sam Darnold got reinvigorated there. This is what the Niners do. And it's not just the Niners. If you go be a backup to a good organization, that was the only argument I had for the Shedeur stuff. If you go be, who mimed an interview, by the way, and everybody was freaking out about it. So we can't play the audio because Shedeur didn't say anything. He just pantomimed and pretended like he was saying something. But if you go to a good organization, you have a limited tape so that people don't see your and Mac had some moments with the Jags, but some limited tape where you play well. Mac Jones is going to get an opportunity somewhere next season. He is. We've seen it. We saw it happen with Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold, I don't even know if Sam Darnold got out there, 1-2 games, whatever it is. That's all you need. That's literally all you need. Some of these dudes don't even have to play. I remember Mitch Trubisky. He sat behind Josh Allen, and I think he got signed to the Steelers, never played a snap, but hey, Josh Allen's good, so maybe it wore off on Mitch Trubisky. It is the best, and that's the only argument with the Shedeur stuff. But we're already seeing it with Mac Jones. Mac Jones, he will be starting somewhere.
Yeah, this is the Teddy Bridgewater pipeline, which is you just got to trick a team into thinking that you're worth $25 to $30 million. Doesn't even have to be $50 million.
No.
Just trick him into a $25 million a year contract.
Mac Jones extended his career, I don't know, maybe at least 2 to 3 years just from these last couple games. And if he wins tonight, 8.5 dogs. That's what the Niners are. If he wins tonight, look, man, my Raiders, we already struggling. I would like some chaos. It's been a while since we have some chaos with the Niners. You got Trey Lance out of town. You got Jimmy Garoppolo out of town. Look, I mean quarterback chaos, all right? Look, Brandon Ayuk, he's, Kyle Shanahan's running up the stairs. Don't trade him to the Steelers. Fine, whatever. Not holdout stuff. I want real controversy, not holdout garbage. Not Juwan Jennings, give me $3 more. I want real controversy.
I think we just have to adjust our expectation because 49ers world is so insane to follow. Like, normal football is hard enough to understand. Now try football that other organizations don't understand. And Niners football is just impossible to follow. So adjusting for expectations, yes, last year was a relatively normal year compared to how insane the 49ers typically are.
And it's the same thing how I felt my first year covering the Kings here at this station. Shout out to my guy, Chris Watkins, because that was a boring season. It was boring. It was very boring. The Kings were good, and then they were bad. They were basically 500. They're messing around in the play-in. They couldn't beat the Pelicans. Malik gets injured. Kevin Huerter forgets how to shoot. The season ends. The season ends. Compared to this last season, now, I don't think a lot of people necessarily wanted all the drama that we saw. I would have preferred them just, be good. But if you're not going to be good, at least be fascinating. The Kings were fascinating. And the basketball world, they love to dunk on the Kings, no pun intended. That's all fine and good. But at least they were fascinating. The Niners are in this weird spot where they're always kind of fascinating. And it's more so based on how they carry themselves, because they carry themselves like they won those Super Bowls against the Chiefs, even though they didn't. And they never make a mistake. They never do anything wrong. Everybody they draft is perfect. And now we have Ricky Pearsall outside of the tragedy where he got shot. He struggled to stay healthy, and I remember doing these reports. He was very healthy at Florida. But these guys that play a long time, and it's football, you just never know when your body's going to change a little bit. He struggled to stay healthy prior to what went down with him. Then after that, he came back and he balled out. This season, I think he was randomly on a couple injury reports, and then he comes out, balls out, and now he's injured again. Juwan Jennings, he was steady Eddie last season. He gets cracked in the ribs. Now he's out. Brandon Ayuk, I'm going to tell you right now, Kyle, why is nobody talking about the fact that we don't know what Brandon Ayuk is going to look like? Every time they talk about how far away Brandon Ayuk is, they mention another ligament that they're going to have to fix. I'm just nobody is talking about the fact that Brandon Ayuk, who was not a freak athlete, relatively speaking, as far as wide receivers are concerned, to begin with, got his knee destroyed. And he's just going to come back at some point and be the same. Now, I pray that he will be, but nobody's talking about, hey, what if Brandon Ayuk isn't the same? And you have Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall when he's available, and Juwan Jennings, who wants a raise every 2 weeks. Juwan Jennings, my hero, by the way. I wish I could get a raise every 2 weeks. Juwan Jennings, every time he does something good, that's like I go to our boss Jose after every good show. It was a really good show today.
Do you remember a couple years ago when that college football coach was talking about players were asking for raises at halftime? It's that, but in the NFL. It's Jawan Jennings.
Literally, if I do anything, Jawan Jennings catches the pass, he's looking at John Lynch. That's a couple more dollars right there. That's going to cost you next season.
I don't know if you ever saw the Kurt Warner movie that was kind of bad that they did, but literally in that old arena league.
I did not see that.
Okay.
No. But I was intrigued, but not intrigued enough.
Anyways, there's a clip in the movie where he's playing in the arena league. I don't watch the movie, but there's a clip where he's playing in the arena league and he finds out that you get paid per touchdown. So, like, when he throws a touchdown, the coach gives him $100.
On the sideline?
Yes, on the sideline. That's
Jawan Jennings' dream. That's literally his dream.
Jawan Jennings, every time he catches a touchdown, walks over to the bench and they drop $1,000 in his hand.
That's it. So we'll see what the Niners do tonight. We have prop talk for you. I've been, like I said, I've been red hot, but I wasn't on the air. But I've been hot, baby. And there are a couple obvious ones that might be trying to trick you. Okay, so that's coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. And I wanted to start this. This is a different type of style espresso, but we got to get it going now that I'm back in the building. Kyle, let me hear it. So the Dodgers, they're doing really well. And I had this messed up. I'm actually very scared. For some reason, I thought I looked at the bracket and the winner of the, the Cubs Padres, I thought they had the Phillies next. I go on social media and I look and I see the Dodgers have my Phillies next. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that at all. Okay, they took care of business. The Reds, and don't get me started on the Giants. I got to stay on track here. But the Reds had no business being in the playoffs, all right? And
they were tipping pitches.
Yeah, and the Dodgers showed there's levels to this. And the Dodgers basically said, why do we even have this wild card? Why did you waste our time just to come out here? Thank you for the very expensive batting practice. That's literally what you did. You just kept everybody warm. So now the Dodgers have the Phillies. And yesterday, the Dodgers, they were popping champagne, right? So you pop champagne when you clinch a playoff spot or the division. Then you pop champagne every single round. And no other major sport does that. Football doesn't do that. Basketball doesn't do that. And I'm sitting there wondering, how do I feel about that, right? We've seen it for a long time. But for some reason yesterday, I'm thinking, I don't really know how I feel about that. I'm not hating on it per se, but no other sport really does that. So yesterday, as my child just refused to sleep, I should say this morning really, at about 2 a.m., as my child refused to sleep, I started looking up, had anybody spoke on it. And my guy, shout out Alameda, Jimmy Rollins, and he played for the Phillies as well. Jimmy Rollins defended it a couple years back, basically saying baseball is a long, grueling season. It's the longest season out of these major sports. So you have to enjoy this stuff when you can. I was watching ESPN last night, and it's funny because Scott Van Pelt asked Mookie, so do you guys have champagne? And the way he said it, he was almost wondering, are you going to do we're going to celebrate when we win the whole thing because they are the reigning World Series champions? Mookie looked at him and said, yeah, it's been a long season. We're going to celebrate these accomplishments. They were in that locker room, and they were popping champagne. Meanwhile, the NBA shamed the Lakers so much that the Bucks refused to touch the Bud Light or Coors Light or Bud Heavy Spread, Michelob Ultra.
Because it was sponsored.
Yeah. Because of what people did to the Lakers the year before. And you know what? I'm actually going to go the other way here when it comes to the get off my lawn stuff. This NBA, I don't want to touch this or I don't want to do that. It's fake hustle to me. And I'm annoyed that they've made it this thing where you have to pretend that you're not happy. You can only be happy for one thing in the NBA. And it's starting to annoy me. I don't want to touch the champagne or the Michelob Ultra for the NBA Cup. We want the real thing. A couple years ago, Jimmy Butler didn't want to hold the Eastern Conference Championship trophy. I want the real thing. He said, I'll hold the next one. Then they lost. He didn't hold anything. Can we normalize just enjoying things? I know this is going to sound crazy, especially coming from me, but it can be tiring how cynical everyone is all the time. The Bucks didn't celebrate the NBA Cup. They had bigger plans. Darvin Ham is pleading with them. Don't do it. Don't touch the Michelob Ultra, even though it's sponsored, because social media will let you have it if we don't win the championship. Okay, cool. You know what happened next? Dame ends up tearing his Achilles, and they really have no memories of the good times. Dame might as well have never been in Milwaukee. And they didn't celebrate the way that they should have because of social media and because in the NBA only one thing matters. All they have is the memories, I guess, on the court, if you will. Life is short, and maybe this is me with my new kid looking at things a different way, but life is short. Enjoy things. It's okay to enjoy things. And I hate that the NBA does this. I think everybody should be popping champagne and drinking Michelob Ultra. That's another one that I've never really seen anybody drink in the wild. Sam Adams, Michelob Ultra. I know they exist, and I know they're doing well because they're still around, but you know, you're at a restaurant or a bar. I've never heard anybody say, let me get a Michelob, right?
They also got Messi speaking English in their commercials,
and
so you know they got money.
Well, and all the commercials, Kyle, you're playing pickup basketball, whatever it is, and all the commercials, they're drinking Michelob Ultra after pickup basketball. They just got a cooler. Who does it? It's not softball. Who does that?
In one of them, there's literally like a bar next to the basketball court. And I'm like, what?
But you know what? If that's what you want to do to celebrate your pickup basketball game, bleep it. Do it. Life is short. And I wish the NBA would act accordingly. And I'm not saying you got to pop champagne for everything like Major League Baseball does, but NBA is 82 games. It's a long season. A lot can happen. You've made it through injury. You've made it through contract disagreements, contract agreements, people getting punched. You've made it through a lot to get to this point, to get to the playoffs, especially if you're in the West. Celebrate it. I think it's okay. But in basketball, there's this culture that only one thing matters. And it's the same in football as well, but I think it's more toxic in basketball. We celebrate that Joe Burrow got to the World Series, right? In a couple years, and I get it, the Super Bowl. I don't know, and I know it was a heck of a run from Tyrese Halliburton, but even let's go with the Suns. Nobody is talking about the fact that Devin Booker got to a finals anymore. Nobody cares.
Devin Booker won a trophy.
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares because only one thing matters in the NBA. So I guess to close, I just want people to enjoy things more. And this can go beyond sports, right? You get that raise at work, even if it's not as much as you thought it would be. Enjoy it. Take your significant other out. Go spend that money. Take your kids out. Your kid comes home, gets that B- on a test, but last time they got a C+, you wanted them to get an A, sure. But celebrate it. You have to celebrate the little things. And watching the frickin' Dodgers, the Smurfs, celebrate made me so sick to my stomach, I had to find a way to feel better about it as I'm trying to burp my kid at 2 a.m. in the morning. And it hit me that sometimes you can't be sorry. And I get it. That's how social media is. But it's crazy to me, the thought of Darvin Ham, the same way Kyle Shanahan was running up the stairs. Don't trade him to the Steelers. Darvin Ham, I'm just imagining Darvin Ham with his hands out saying, guys, don't touch the Michelob Ultra. They're going to clown you. And I hate that's the world that we live in now. I hate it. You should be able to enjoy things. That's why you're there. Nothing is promised. Nothing is promised. Dame Lillard, and I'm not sitting here saying Dame Lillard regrets not drinking the Michelob Ultra. I don't even know if Dame drinks. Okay? But the point is, you should be able to enjoy things. And we shouldn't feel that the Bucks didn't win a championship because, or even the Lakers, because they celebrated the NBA Cup. Those two things should not be connected. Should not be connected at all. All right. That's my spiel. On the other side, heat culture strikes again in the form of Nikola Jovic. We'll tell you how this connects to the Kings, their young talent, and why there is something the Kings cannot do in this upcoming draft. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Into 11/1 select models only.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get ready for 2 epic showdowns of Monster Truck Madness at the Stockton Dirt Track, Saturday, October 4th. Feel the roar, the power, and the ground-pounding action. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Do you have what it takes to survive the madness? Get your tickets now at StocktonDirtTrack.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
A men's health moment with Revive Men's Health. Low energy, low drive, weight gain, and mood changes can all be signs of low testosterone. Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has treated thousands of men for low T. Learn more at revivemenshealth.com.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Getting to my beloved text line here, 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation. Is this Allen's world's smallest violin segment? That is from Nick. Good to hear from you, Nick. I missed you and your sarcasm. I guess so. Maybe. Yeah, it is. I just, look, if the Kings win the NBA Cup, maybe it depends on the team, right? And you get into a whole different thing where it's some teams aren't going to win the championship. Some teams are. If the Kings won, and I know DeMar's been around a long time, Zach LaVine, Kings are a weird bunch because they're vets. But if the Kings won the NBA Cup, which would be very hard to do, but if the Kings won the NBA Cup, I'd want them to celebrate. And I think Kings fans would be a little bit happy about it. You haven't had much to celebrate here the last 20 plus years besides Beam Team season.
You could go 40.
Yeah. So I would be upset. If I was a Kings fan, I would say, Zach LaVine, you better shake up that Michelob Ultra.
Don't pretend you're better than this.
Yeah, right? And maybe that's the thing. It was number one. Let me say that. If the Kings won the first one, now, again, people love to clown the Kings, so it might have been they might have been clowned in a different way, but with it being LeBron, AD, the Lakers, that made it very clownable. Made it very clownable. Then with the Bucks winning, with Giannis and obviously Dame, they have bigger fish to fry. They thought, all right, well, we're not going to put ourselves in that situation. And Darvin Ham was there with the Lakers when it went down. But if the Hornets won the first one, nobody's clowning the Hornets. Not the same way. Not the same way.
It's all about expectation, right? Which is why I say that while I don't think the Dodgers probably should have celebrated the wild card, in baseball, winning a division or winning a playoff series used to really mean something because there was only like 2 of them, right? It was like you won the East, you won the West, and you played in the league championship series. So there were only 3 chances to celebrate.
Because my first thought was this is a lot of champagne being popped for a team that, you know, we don't know if the Dodgers are going to win the whole thing or not. But you get maybe it's the clinching the playoffs. If I were now on the flip side, if I was going to eliminate something, I don't think, and I can't, I'm assuming they did, the Dodgers should not have been popping champagne when they clinched the division.
No, division I understand. Wild card and DS, not sure.
I think there is probably a little bit too much champagne popping, not to revert on what I just said last segment. There's probably a little bit too much champagne popping, and we can discuss and we can argue what should it be. But for the Reds, right, I'm okay with that. Reds hadn't been in since 2020, and it was going to be a 1-2 barbecue trip anyway, and that's what it was. So go ahead and enjoy yourself because the way they got into the playoffs, that matters. You know, it's also funny, if the Mets had scraped their way in, how poorly they played with that payroll, maybe you're also thinking, why are you popping champagne? You shouldn't have even been in this position.
No, I understand doing it when you clinch, especially in baseball, because it used to be that it was so hard to get
rid of wild card champagne popping or DS champagne
because
popping.
The reason baseball does it is that you used to do it 3 times. When you won your division, because there were no wild cards, so you won your division, then you won the league championship series because it was the only playoff round, and then the World Series. And since they've added wild card, it's just been awkward and clunky when they celebrate after the wild card. So, but again, in the NBA, they don't celebrate after you win a conference championship.
No, they don't do anything.
Which I'd say is a big deal.
Yeah.
You won a trophy.
Right, and nobody wants to touch the trophy. Don't touch the trophy, okay? UPS Chris, good to hear from you, says, I truly think Hot Honey Jones is going to play a lot of 4 this year. I think this is the year he steps up. I think they spent the summer trying to get Jonathan Kuminga the right way. And, yeah, at the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to discuss whether the Kings wasted their time or spent too much time on Jonathan Kuminga. That's actually going to be at 12. And my only thing with Isaac Jones is they're just not talking about him a lot, right? They're not necessarily saying out loud, we think Isaac Jones is going to take a leap. We think he's going to play a lot. We haven't heard them say that about Isaac Jones or Dario Saric. So that's the only thing that's giving me a little bit cause to pause on how they feel about those guys. From the 916, Allen, stop already. There's no controversy. Brock Purdy can't help stepping on his foot in the first game and him trying to go and re-aggravating it. He's better than Mac Jones, so let's stop. You want controversy because misery loves company, and the Raiders are always controversy because they suck. Well, I can't necessarily argue with you, 916, but I will say this. People like you make me want to root for the Niners tonight because mark my words, 916, if Mac Jones beats the Rams as an 8.5 dog, you will have controversy. I do not care. You can pretend like you won't, but okay, let Mac Jones win tonight and beat the Rams. Now, I don't think they're going to do it. I think even if it's by a field goal and he looks good, there could be a little bit of talk, but all right, you are the reason. Now, today I am rooting. I am the biggest Niner fan today just because I want chaos. And if you think that if the Niners win tonight, 8.5-point dogs with Mac Jones spinning that thing to a bunch of dudes that are 3s and 4s, to Russell Gage and Sky Moore. And I did look up DeMarcus Robinson, I believe, is playing.
I have the receiving core here. So it's DeMarcus Robinson, Sky Moore, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Russell Gage, and Kendrick Bourne.
If you think that there won't be controversy if Mac Jones wins with that, you're tripping.
Also, Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl with 40% of that receiving.
Well, that's true, too. Now if he does that, right? I think I read as well, whoever wins this game between the Niners and the Rams, 50% chance to win the NFC West. So it's a huge game. So 916, you're a Niner fan? So am I tonight, buddy.
You know what I just realized? Because, like, they have 11 days off after this, and most people assume Purdy's going to be back, Kittle's going to be back, Ayuk probably won't be back.
Yeah, that Bucs game's going to be huge.
But it also made me realize, is Mac Jones playing for $75 million tonight? Like, if he wins this game.
And you never see him again.
Yes, and he doesn't play the rest of the season.
He's getting cashed out.
Yeah, someone's going to convince themselves to pay him. It's probably the Vikings. Someone's going to convince
It might be the Panthers.
Could be the Panthers. Someone's going to convince themselves to pay $70 million to Mac Jones if he walks away 3-0 and we never see him play again for the Niners.
I'm telling you, there are very specific times where I root for the Niners, and today is that day. And 916, you are part of that reason. Campio Silva on the Sack Chat, shout out to the Sack Chat, says, Styles, if the Kings won the NBA Cup, they would exceed expectations. Dang straight. And they better celebrate that. They better celebrate that. Okay, I wanted to get to this player that I spent some time talking to different media members and agents about because he was very intriguing to me. And he just got cashed out to the tune of about $15 million a year. And Heat culture strikes again. Miami Heat forward Nikola Jovic has agreed to a 4-year, $62.4 million rookie contract extension with the franchise. So that's from Shams. That came out yesterday. And last season, he averaged a career high of 10.7 points as his Heat role elevates. That's Shams, of course, adding that just a little wrinkle in there that he loves to add. And is really interesting to me because he was the 27th pick in the 2022 NBA draft. And my first thought was this could easily be a Keon type of contract, or we looked it up last season. Keon was worth about $14 million a year, right? That's what he was worth last season based on his value and based on his stats and what he brings to the squad. Nick Clifford as well. I just look at Nick Clifford because Nick Clifford was the 26th pick in the draft, and Jovic went 27. From a contract and path perspective, I think that they could both look at this and say, hey, I like that, right? I can do that. Nowadays, you have to find a path. I can do that. Be scrappy. Your shot is still trying to be figured out a little bit if you're Jovic, but he can do some things offensively. He can get to the cup. He can pass a little bit. He's kind of that Swiss Army knife, to be completely honest with you. And that's why I'm bringing up Nick Clifford, and I think Keon could get there as well. The difference is, as far as their value is concerned, and this leads me to the draft, is Jovic is 22 years old. Think about it. He just signed his rookie extension. What does that mean? That means he's been in the league 3 years. So I looked up that 2022 draft, and it is very, very fascinating, all right? Because he is surrounded by dudes that aren't really playing basketball at a high level anymore. So he went 27, as I mentioned, in the 2022 draft, and Scott Perry, they decided that at the back of the draft, they wanted to take more of the sure thing. Nick Clifford was 23 years old when he got drafted. He was almost by far the oldest first-round pick. Now let's take a listen to the other, and this is in 2022, the other ages of picks that year. Blake Wesley was 19, and Blake Wesley he's still around for the Spurs.
I think he's on a new team now.
Yeah, he's still around, but not much to speak of. He was 19. At pick 26, Wendell Moore, he was 21. All right, again, a little bit older, so he had played at Duke, didn't really work out, so they went more experience there. My guy from when I was covering the Warriors, Patrick Baldwin, he was the last player where people did how do the Warriors keep getting away with this? Once he didn't work out, 6'9", shooting threes, he was 20 years old, so a bit younger. Once he didn't work out, nobody cares about Warriors picks anymore. Quentin Post was hitting threes, and the Warriors got him. Nobody cares. He was picked at 28, not really in the league anymore. Ty Washington was 21 years old, not getting a ton of time. Kyle's favorite player from the Nuggets bench, Peyton Watson, was 20 years old.
Oh, the guy from the Hotels.com commercial.
That's right, 20 years old, and he's getting legitimate time on a contender. So good for him at number 30. Now, I don't know if the Nuggets would like to upgrade that, but they've gotten away with it, if you will. And he's now 22 years old because he's been, or 23 years old at this point, the same age as Nick Clifford, which is, again, crazy. Max Christie went at 35. He was only 19. Guy Santos, who's still scratching and clawing with the Warriors, he was 20. My point is, as we just take a look into the future here, as we look at Tankathon, with what they did with Devin Carter, even with a different regime, and what they just did with Nick Clifford, they need to draft. I don't care if they end up getting the 13th pick again, whatever it is. They can't draft another 22-year-old. They definitely can't draft another 23-year-old. You have to give these guys time, whether they work out or not. This is the trend, and I get it. Nick Clifford hopefully works out. But in 2 years, Nick Clifford will be 25. And that goes to the fact of what we're going to get into with Devin Carter and where that could go next. But this upcoming draft, you give somebody time like Jovic, and it doesn't always work out, but you're giving yourself a longer runway. This upcoming draft, the Kings cannot draft another 22-year-old. I don't think so. I think they have to take a chance with a 19-year-old, with a 20-year-old, and go from there. Speaking of the Kings, we have our second edition of Christie's Cuts when we return. More Allen Stiles coming up.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
The Sactown Sports 49ers report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. Niners suffer their first loss of the season, 26-21 to Jacksonville. Brock Purdy returned after missing 2 games and threw for over 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns, but also had a couple of interceptions. Travis Etienne rushed for 124 yards and a TD for Jacksonville. Quick turnaround for SF as they travel to LA on Thursday for a big divisional matchup. Catch the game this Thursday beginning at 4 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
Need cash fast? Tap into the value of your home with a home equity line of credit from Valley Strong Credit Union. Whether it's for home improvements, debt consolidation, or that dream vacation, you can get your cash offer in minutes. That's right, just minutes to unlock the power of your home's equity with no hard credit pull to see how much cash you can get. No stress, no waiting. Just smart, local banking that puts you first. Grow your possibilities with Valley Strong Credit Union. Visit valleystrong.com to get started today.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Sacramento gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations, and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. The spouse says, "Thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before." That's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
So there's a basketball game going on right now. And by the way, 3 game 3s today.
First time it's ever happened.
Yeah, winner take all for MLB playoffs. But there's a NBA game going on right now. It's the Knicks and the Sixers. Where is it?
It's Abu Dhabi.
It's in Abu Dhabi.
Which I didn't realize was happening until I walked into the studio and I saw Fat Joe performing in Abu Dhabi, and I was like, what is happening?
I didn't know where it was, but I saw on social media, we have basketball tomorrow. Okay, cool.
So this must have been why the Knicks training camp media day was so much earlier than everyone's, is because they're doing the Abu Dhabi.
So I guess in a weird way, I know it's not a real game, but Mike Brown, we were talking about that offense. Mike Brown's debut with the Knicks going on right now overseas, 61-50 in the Abu Dhabi games. 2025, the Abu Dhabi games. So that is what's happening. And later on, great slate of sports. I don't know how good that Niners-Rams game is going to be now.
I don't know.
I
Must
hope
watch.
it's great. I hope it's great. But you got that. You got Yankees-Red Sox, game 3. You got a bunch of game 3s. Whitey Gleason chimed in. He texts Kyle and I, Mac Jones is under contract with the Niners next season. Oh, that's even better. No, you don't understand. That's even better. Because now the Niners, because they don't like controversy. That's part of the reason they moved off of Trey Lance. I know Trey Lance has struggled, and I don't know that he'll ever be a starting quarterback, but they moved off Trey Lance. They didn't want to hear questions about it. Remember that? It was a distraction. They didn't want to hear questions about Trey. Well, they got Mac Jones for another year. And if this brother keep cooking, it's even better he's under contract. Because they're either going to trade him, and they can get great value for him, but would Kyle want to? If Brock can't stay on the field?
You weren't here, Alan, because you were obviously on leave, but I made this point, and it's been so true. It's like they might not win as much because of having Mac Jones and the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs receiving core on their team, but I promise you, Kyle's never been happier.
Oh, yeah, because this is all, he's just, Mac Jones is just a puppet.
Yeah, just scheming up.
Right? Because a lot of people don't really realize Brock, he's out here trying to be a Brock star a little too often. Then that he admitted to that last season, then came in this season and kind of did the same thing. Let's go back to the touchdown, to start the season. The Tonjes touchdown. That's not what Kyle had drawn up. And Kyle, you can kind of feel his anxiety when Brock starts scurrying around. You feel it through the screen.
But here's the thing, though, with that. I think that will be great for his career in the long run. Whose
career?
Shanahan.
Okay.
No, because I've made the point. Shanahan right now is basically Andy Reid in 2006, which is made it to a bunch of NFC championship games, gets made fun of for clock management, has problems giving his quarterbacks that, let's be honest, probably aren't great, giving them the leash that they need. And eventually Andy got to the point with Alex Smith where he was like, okay, I'm finally releasing the reins. And then eventually that helped once he got Patrick Mahomes, where it's like, oh, I can just give the reins over to this great quarterback. eventually Shanahan's going to get his Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I mean, I think that's a great – I mean, he's got to get that. And
it probably won't happen in San Francisco either. Like, he will probably flame out at some point, and they'll move on, and he'll go to another job.
That's the fear for a lot of Niners fans, that he will be the Andy Reid. I actually wrote an article on that when they went to the Super Bowl and ultimately lost. You can still check that out on Sactown Sports because it is still relevant today. So 916-339-1140. Oh, man, I'm so excited for tonight. What do y'all say? Bang, bang, Niner gang? Only for today. Specific days. When I see Jay today during crosstalk, I'm going to say, what's up, Jay? Big game, baby. Big game. The Mac attack, baby.
So I just looked up Mac Jones's contract. It's like $4 million for next year, but he also has some funny incentives in here. If he's on the roster next year, he gets a $1.4 million bonus. Mm-hmm. If he plays 50% of regular season snaps either year, and the Niners make the playoffs, $600,000 bonus. If he plays 25% of the regular season snaps and Niners make the playoffs, $100,000 bonus.
This dude's going to ball out. Okay? And what's crazy is if I'm Mac, and I know he was actually injured last week too. That's a big part of it. Because Brock shouldn't have been out there. If Mac was healthy, they probably don't even play Brock. So this is going to be fascinating for all you Niner fans out there. Allen, it's not close. Look, I know Brock is better than Mac Jones, but that doesn't really matter. That's the craziest part. It doesn't matter. And the question then becomes, when you paid Brock that money, is he, whatever that gap is, $40 million, $45 million better than Mac Jones? And look, man, you know what the coaches told me? You can't make the club in the tub. And if Brock can't get on the field and they win games, or if it's even, that's what I'm saying. If it's competitive tonight and Mac Jones looks good, I think there starts to be a little, hey, what's going on here? Because, the Saints aren't good, right? Let's not pretend like they're good. The Saints aren't good.
Oh, the worst team in football.
They're the worst team in football.
Titans notwithstanding.
By the way, we're going to get to Christie's Cuts here. Did you see what Spencer, and he was my guy. I tried to convince everyone that it was going to work out. He gets the reins to start. Spencer Rattler, they're facing the New York Giants this week. Spencer Rattler gets on a podium, right? As everybody is talking about Shedeur Sanders miming and not speaking, this is what Spencer Rattler should have done. Spencer Rattler gets on the podium, winless as a starter in his career, and says, yeah, the New York Giants, they're a good defense, but they don't really do any disguises. You kind of know what you're going to get. What is wrong? Why? Who does stuff like that? Like, this is why you're winless, dude. Like, why are you saying that on a podium out loud?
How bad must Shuck be if they're just like they spent a second-round pick?
That's the biggest question. And I believe that my boy Jackson Dart, he's doing the chip on the shoulder thing. If you're in a Survivor League, I mean, you always just want to pick somebody who's just picking whoever the Saints face, and they might not go win. They might win a game eventually, and you just pray that it ain't going to be that day. They're not beating the Giants.
That's how I've won this year. I've picked against the Saints every week.
They're not beating the Giants. All right, Kyle, let's get to Christie's Cuts.
I think everybody is in a pretty good spot. You got your normal bumps and bruises, nothing that's huge in my estimation, but, I'm not the one doing it. I'm the one coaching it and watching it. So, yeah, there's some bumps and bruises, but nothing big. One thing that I want them to understand is they have a voice. Like, I got this from Mike T, is you don't care where good ideas come from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What we want is we want good ideas. So that doesn't mean everything that they say, because I was a player. So you're not listening to everything. But the point is, they're out there on the floor. And I've told them many times, like, listen, when I was out on the floor and we had a coverage, but I can feel that it's not about the work. I'm out there doing it. So do I want to hear from them? And when we do, normally you own that. So if you're going to say, hey, I want to do it this way, and they're all in agreement, then now you own that. And so just the open communication, the ability and willingness to let them know that this is a safe place, and we're here to win and try to make sure that we're being better every day. And part of that starts with the communication and the trust within our circle of each other. Part of what we're trying to do is iron sharpens iron. So we have to get at each other in an uncomfortable way. And then that teaches you who's in your foxhole, who you're dealing with, so that when you do get in the game, you are prepared for that. You know, we want practice to be difficult and the games to be, the show that people come to see.
Those were some of Christie's cuts, and I got caught up on the first one. Bumps and bruises, they're running two. See, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. That was training camp day 2. They're running 2-a-days. Nobody really knows what's happening the second half of the 2-a-days. And there's already bumps and bruises, no injuries, but bumps and bruises. As I'm watching the Knicks play the Sixers in Abu Dhabi for some odd reason, can we just get to the season healthy? At the very least, all this kind of mini hopium that I have right now, that some fans have right now, I understand it's Coach Carter and you want to be pick up the pace and you want to be well conditioned, but you also have to be healthy. These guys are also getting paid a lot of money, so it's a balancing act. Bumps and bruises, brother, it's day 2. 916-339-1140. Kings Talk is starting to heat up here as we get into the second hour of the show. Matt George beautifully laid out what happened for training camp day 2. He's got 6 points. We're going to go over all of them. And there's one in particular that is a huge red flag, but it might be a blue flag based on the shirt that this player is wearing. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
With great deals coming this Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th, greatness is a deal away. So if you love baking, you can get a deal on a new mixer, transforming you into the Lord of the Loaves.
Hear ye, make way for the baron of brioche, the sultan of sourdough, the lord of the loaves, Prime Member Dave!
Yeah, hi?
Get up to 40% off with Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
Hey man, gaining weight, low energy, lost drive? It could be your testosterone. Revive Men's Health Sacramento helps men get their edge back. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations.
When men start treatment, it's not just their labs that change. You see it in their posture, their energy, and how they walk into the room. That's why I do what I do.
Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sactown Sports.
1 hour down, 3 to go, and we have a training camp day 2 recap that Matt George beautifully laid out. There are some notes that we're going to focus on here in the 11 o'clock hour, and we're going to kick it off by just reading all of them. Number 1, Kings were doing a team free throw drill. If someone missed, the entire team ran. Bumps and bruises. Malik Monk made sure to let everyone hear it when they missed, especially the stars. Number 2, Devin Carter was in a blue jersey along with Maxime Reynaud and the two-way guys. Now, that's something we're going to discuss a little bit later. Okay, so at 11:30, we have Jersey Gate coming up. I want to put a pin in that. 11:30, I got things to say about Devin Carter. Kyle and I were talking during the break. Hey, are they playing some tricks on us? Spoiler alert, I don't think so. But that's coming up at 11:30, and it will be commercial-free up until 11:30 at the top of every hour here on the home of the Sacramento Kings. Number 3, Domantas Sabonis says Doug Christie and Scott Perry are running a very strict, quote, unquote, professional camp. Am I supposed to just read that and not think maybe there's a little mustard on that one, a little gray poupon? Am I supposed to just say, he's just saying, knowing what we know, as Mike Brown is in Abu Dhabi now, knowing what we know, am I supposed to just read that at its face value? Right? Like Dylan Gabriel, he said, if you wait for the perfect time, it might pass you by, whatever it is. And a lot of people thought he was taking a shot at Shedeur Sanders'
Oh, he totally
song.
was.
And this is not the first time he's done something like that. Shedeur Sanders' song, little double entendre. But am I supposed to, because when I read that, Kyle, I was walking out the building, actually. I was walking out the building after the show yesterday. And my first thought was, this got to be a mini shot at Mike Brown, right?
Oh.
And I don't want to do it, but it kind of sounds like it.
Oh, Mr. Stiles. So I went back and listened to the Sabonis press conference, and Matt George might have buried the lead here because the thing Sabonis said immediately after that kind of clarifies your question.
Please do tell.
Would you like to? Okay, so here's the context. The first part is the quote you just had,
Yes.
but listen to what he says right after.
If someone asks you, what's the major difference from last training camp to this one, what would you identify?
I don't even know. This year it's been very strict. Scott and Doug have really implemented their rules and their values, and it reminds me back when I was a rookie.
Do you like having a team be an extension of the head coach?
Well, yeah, I like it. There's a discipline, there's accountability. It's something that this place needs, and I'm excited.
Come on, man. Come on,
Discipline
man.
and accountability is something this place needs.
Come on. That's what we're doing? This is so crazy to me because I'm just curious as to who was not taking accountability. Because from my perspective, it got to a point with Mike Brown. And look, somebody's going to text in because they always do, 916-329-1140. Let's let the past be the past. And great job by Sean Cunningham, by the way, KCRA. Great job by Sean Cunningham because he knew what he was doing. And that's why this dude's a pro.
Here's Sean Cunningham.
That's right.
Who? I don't know.
Sean knows exactly what he was doing. Now, here's a little wrinkle in this. Is Domas necessarily talking about Mike Brown? Or is Domas talking about De'Aaron Fox? Because Mike Brown, this whole thing, he got up on the podiums and he said, look, man, we're telling people to close out. We're telling people to do different things. What can Mike Brown be accountable for? Here's the old adage, he's not playing, he's not shooting, he's not defending. They had a game plan. So I think obviously they're a package deal a little bit, Mike Brown and De'Aaron Fox. But now that I think this thing through, and you talk about your leaders of the team, Kyle, can you play one more time, please?
If someone asks you, what's the major difference from last training camp to this one, what would you identify?
I don't even know. This year it's been very strict. Scott and Doug have really implemented their rules and their values, and it reminds me back when I was a rookie.
Do you like having a team be an extension of the head coach?
Well, yeah, I like it. There's a discipline, there's accountability. It's something that this place needs, and I'm excited.
Whenever anybody uses that V word, I think you can get triggered a little bit, right? Whenever somebody uses the word values, that kind of questions who you are as an adult, questions who you are as a man. Whenever somebody uses the word, we have values now, that one hurts you. If somebody says, I don't think this is going to work out because I think our values are different, that's a deep cut. Somebody could say, you're not my type, you're not tall enough, you're not this, you're not in shape enough, whatever it is. But if somebody says, I just don't think our values align, that's a deep cut to me. And I'm sorry, y'all know I like the drama. I've been out a couple weeks now. This is really, really, it'll probably be done soon. I don't think he'll continue to do it, but he wanted to make sure he said that.
This is spicy, Domas.
He definitely wanted to make sure he'd been waiting for that. Again, great job, Sean Cunningham, because what's the biggest difference between this training camp and last training camp? There's a different head coach.
Oh, and different players.
Different head coach. Yeah, but there's the head coach is running the training camp. But to your point, De'Aaron as well. This is fascinating stuff, man. Fascinating stuff. But the word accountability, it's a bit confusing, right? Whether or not you're accountable, people can look at that and have different definitions of accountability. If you ask De'Aaron Fox, do you feel like you're accountable as a player? I think he'd say yes. Now, going back to let's go back to when Mike Brown got fired, right? And I believe it was Michelle Dapper, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. When he was asked the question, do you feel responsible? And De'Aaron had a look of disgust on his face. I almost feel like that's the stuff, even if Domas wasn't a huge fan of Mike Brown or allegedly, I almost feel like that's the type of stuff that could go into the accountability bucket, right? You should feel some responsibility for the guy that you're cool with getting canned. Because if you close out on Jaden Ivey, you don't lose what was that, your fourth or fifth straight game. If you don't put yourself in a bad position the first 30 games, now he probably shouldn't have been canned after 30 games, but if y'all took care of business within the last 2 years, your coach would still be your coach. So I do think the definition of accountability can change from person to person, because De'Aaron could say, well, I'm accountable on the court or whatever it is. We know he wasn't much of a vocal leader, if you will. Didn't really, he seems to like talking to the San Antonio media. Maybe that's a little bit different, but yeah, I don't want to get too caught up on it because we have other points to get to, and I see the phone lines warming up here, so we are going to get to them. Let's continue on, and we can put a pin in it. Strict and professional, And great job, Kyle, pulling that other piece of it. Number 4 on the list, Doug Christie has been open to player feedback on how the Kings are running camp. Sabonis says they talk every day after camp. I'm not trying to do the thing.
I mean, we heard the sound in the Christie's cuts. That's kind of like the one part of the thing he was talking about. But yes, he did specifically say we're open to player feedback and communication and stuff like that, which I don't think is necessarily inherently a bad thing, but it went from Mike and De'Aaron and the personal relationship we know that they have to now Doug and Domas.
Right.
And it's just such an interesting dichotomy when we know Doug and Domas were there the entire time. They've been together. They're now the longest tenured duo in the organization.
Look, and I'll tell you this much. We did feel like once everything came out, when they moved on from Mike Brown and subsequently traded De'Aaron Fox, they were choosing, or the word on the street is they were essentially choosing Doug Christie and Sabonis instead of De'Aaron Fox and Mike Brown. So we all understand that. And a lot of this is quite natural, right? It's the first year without Mike Brown, who took you to the playoffs. First time you had been there in a very long time. You had these good memories with Mike Brown. Then things went a bit south a bit quickly. So some of this is inevitable. I don't want to make it sound like they're purposely dragging this. Number one, and great job from Sean Cunningham, but Domas was asked the question, right? And we want our athletes to be honest, and he was. And maybe he wanted to make sure he said some things, but that's just how he felt. But on the other side of it, I mean, the elephant in the room is it is a different head coach. So obviously there are going to be differences. And if somebody asks you what are the differences, you're going to answer, or we'd hope that he would answer. I do like this Domas because I've told y'all before that Domas is kind of known for just athlete speak. And he just says the thing, and then he goes on with his day. Again, that word comes up time and time and time again. Transparency. And that's how these guys are running it. That's how these guys are approaching it. And I like it. And you know I like it because I like to hear a little bit of the drama. Next on the list, number 5, Sabonis said Maxime Reynaud impressed him with a behind-the-back left-handed pass today, and the whole team was impressed. I'm assuming they were acting like it was and one in there, and people were gassing him up. So you love to hear that from my guy, Maxime Reynaud. Just say the name. And number 6, last on the list, Sabonis is really excited about how he will be used on offense this year. Less just at the dunker spot and more around the perimeter. Back to DHOs. I just want to ask a question because I do get a bit confused with this. When did they leave DHOs? I thought they were always with DHOs. Did they leave? Is he referring to when DeMar DeRozan arrived and how the offense changed there? Because that's not a dig at Mike Brown because Mike Brown had him doing a ton of DHOs.
Yeah, I think him and Malik were running the DHOs, but I remember us doing shows back then where it's like the league has adjusted to the DHOs. And so the DHOs did not work with Zach, so I know they're not talking about like...
Yeah.
Maybe it's just after the Fox trade. Maybe it's not that deep. Maybe it's just with Zach's game, the DHOs were not good, but Malik was running the point, so they were running less DHOs. Maybe this is just a post-Fox.
No. I don't think. Yeah. I'm not doing the thing for this one. You can tell because I'll have my evil laugh. I'm not doing the thing for that one. That's just the quote.
I'm trying to figure out when he's talking about.
Okay, I'm glad it's not just me because it feels like they're always talking about getting back to DHOs, but it's like there's also screens or DHOs. It's just a little bit. Can y'all just win games?
Which one of the 5 seasons last year was it when they gave up on the DHOs?
It was when Kevin Huerter stopped making threes. That's when the DHOs started looking bad.
Okay.
Let's just keep it a buck.
But they were also still running the DHO with Malik, but then did that stop when Malik moved into the starting lineup, or did it stop when Malik became the point guard?
And also when Keegan was struggling. The DHOs look bad when dudes don't make shots.
Sure, I don't know.
And then they look great. Did teams catch up, or did they just start bricking?
But also the DHOs don't make sense with Zach, where you don't want Zach coming off the screen and driving. You want Zach to catch the ball and shoot it.
Well, he's going to be playing a ton of minutes. So, yeah, like I said, the defense Obviously, we want to see how they're going to turn it up on the defensive end, but I'm really intrigued to see what they do on offense. I have no clue what it's going to look like.
No idea. No idea how these rotations are going to work. If we thought the rotations were confusing last year, get ready for this year. It's insane.
And by the way, there's been one post from the Kings, and it's not all coming directly from the official team accounts, but I've seen one. They got all the social media stuff. Local big brand. They're trying coffee. The teams are. I saw they had the Gen Zers or Gen Alphas, whatever they are now. They were ranking gaming systems. They had PSPs and Nintendo DS. They've only posted one video, and in the video, they're really just running around. I go on social media and all these other teams, not just from the team account, but I'm seeing Reed Shepherd cooking Kevin Durant. Where is the practice video footage? I see Brennan was back there earlier. Where is and I know the media can only record so much. I'm seeing all this content of other teams practicing and nothing from the Kings.
Yeah, it's just when they make practices open is usually at the end when they're shooting free throws and running laps, which is why the only video we have is them missing free throws and running sprints and Devin Carter being in the blue jersey.
Where is that?
They literally...
Did you see that video of Reed Shepherd?
I did not, but...
Nice hook shot over Kevin Durant. I'm just, where is what we want to see?
Well, because the Kings, it's like state secrets almost.
Yeah.
Like this has been the thing even going back to the Beam team. It's just we don't get very much practice footage.
It's like national treasure.
Yeah.
I'm being Nicolas Cage. Where's Brendan at? He's still around there. I'm trying to figure out how we can get some more footage. I want to see somebody cook somebody.
How can Brendan sneak into practice?
Yeah, I don't want to see liners. I don't want to see them running liners. Okay? Doug, great sound bites. I don't need to see more videos of Doug talking and them listening.
So
I've just fired it up here. It's just Keegan making a layup.
So this is kind of the interesting split, I feel like, from last year. Because before people were like, here's DeMar DeRozan shooting free throws after practice. And everyone was like, okay, this is interesting. Mm-hmm. But then we learned that like there were not skeletons in the closet, but like things were not as they seemed. And everyone was on edge with each other, and then Mike obviously got fired, kind of was the implosion point. But it's kind of like after that, we're like, so what's really going on here?
I saw Tristy, I believe it was Zach LaVine. I'm trying to remember who the other person was. It might have been Dennis Schroeder. I'll confirm. But I saw Tristy Rodriguez, NBC Sports Bay Area, who's been doing outstanding work for a couple, not just the Kings, but everything right now. And she had video because these guys had stayed after practice, so it was still open. So it was Schroeder. Zach LaVine and Dennis Schroeder are the last two players at Kings practice today working on their shooting. The Kings are holding a second practice later today. That was September 30th. So she has video of them, and they're just shooting around because you can, if it's after practice, that's a little bit different. But these are high-level videos that I'm seeing from these other teams, and I'm trying to get excited. I'm thinking, where is the content? 916-339-1140. TC wants to talk about accountability. Haven't talked to TC since I've been back. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Hey, hey, Allen, my boy, listen, congratulations again, bro.
Thank you, my guy.
And everything is all good.
Thank you.
So, hey, look, I had to tap in with the homies. Hey, so check it out, bro. Accountability. I love this, though, Moss. I love the accountability. In my opinion, he's talking to both of them, really. Mm-hmm. And to everybody who wasn't accountable, Fox and Mike, right? Mm-hmm. Mike, we can go down the line. I think when he's talking to Mike, he like, bro, you was asking everybody for accountability, right? But, Mike, you wasn't holding accountability yourself. Yeah. Not playing Keon Ellis's and your faults, right? But you was pointing everybody else's out. And Fox, everybody was just past it. Bro, you were too laid back. You wasn't taking accountability like, this is my team. Everybody has to get in line. He wasn't doing that. He was just acting like he was too cool, and he wants to get out of here. So I love this, Domod. What I come from Doug Christie and Scott Perry, I love the accountability that they're showing and getting everybody's butts in line and saying, we're all on one page.
That's a great call, TC. That's how you return back, because I don't know if you were calling in while I was out, but that's how you return back to the Allen Stiles Show. TC, that's it right there, baby. You cooking. You cooking right now. And thank you for the call. Because TC reminded me of something. Speaking about accountability. I don't know if anybody else saw this, but some Kings fans and media members saw it and smirked a little bit. Because Mike Brown was doing a presser for the Knicks, and somehow I think the question was about rotations. And he used the fact that he played Keon Ellis as an answer to the question to say how open he is to changing up rotations. And I'm paraphrasing here, but that's what he said. And it got around the block, and everyone associated with the Kings, of course, unofficially, not the Kings organization, just kind of rolled their eyes because, Mike, we were there. We were there for the doghouse. So that's actually a pretty fascinating thing to hear and couple together with what Domas said after yesterday's practice and training camp. Because if Mike Brown is really trying to sell that he was the driving force behind playing one Keon Ellis, he better be lucky that he did it in Sacramento where a lot of people, the rest of the NBA, ain't paying attention. Because we remember things quite differently.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, you could make the point, well, he put Keon in the lineup originally, but...
He did. Then things got weird. Yeah. And maybe we'll still get some answers on what the weirdness was. But that's a good point, Kyle. He did... And maybe it was an assistant coach that also, they all worked together to say, hey, I think Keon's ready.
Maybe it was all Jordy.
Maybe something was always fishy about that. But now he's out here telling New York media, hey, Keon Ellis, one of the two bright spots in Sacramento. Yeah, I gave him that run.
Yeah.
I gave him that run.
Go give us your first round pick for him if you really believe.
Pull the tape. Pull the tape, Mike. We were there.
The NPCDs.
Accountability.
Well, this is kind of the thing I struggle with the accountability part of it is like Mike Brown was doing the sign the contracts thing. Mike Brown was trying to do the film breakdown stuff. And kind of at the end, it was like, well, we're losing a lot. We're practicing too much. So we're not going to hate if the coach gets fired kind of situation.
Yeah, and maybe some of this is me overthinking it because I do think I'm just having some fun with Mike and the Keon Ellis thing. But I think that Mike, all these coaches have the same intentions, right? And that's why I said in the first segment, sometimes it's the messenger, not the message. Because I don't think that Mike Brown and Doug Christie have terribly different philosophies on the game of basketball. And I would love to be a fly on the wall, because I wasn't there, but I would love to be a fly on the wall to actually see the difference between how Mike Brown ran his camp and how Doug Christie ran his camp. Because I don't know. I mean, I'm not so sure how terribly different they are on their face. But again, going back to the Ryan Clark thing from earlier this week and the Shedeur Sanders thing, when you like someone, you like what they do more than if you don't like someone, you don't like what they do, even if those things are somewhat similar. I just find it hard to believe that Mike Brown's camp and Doug Christie's camp are complete 180s.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not different, but camps are camps.
I guess the other part I'm curious about is like 3 different iterations of it too, because there was the Mike Brown, Jordy Fernandez, Jay Triano version. Mm-hmm. Then there was the Mike Brown, Jay Triano, Luke Laux, and a bunch of the coaches left to go with Jordy. So like after that coaching exodus, what did it look like the next year? And then what does it look like this year is kind of the thing. Because we can talk all we want about like, oh, what is the difference between Mike and Doug? But it seemed like training camp last year was probably very different than training camp the year before because there was so much turnover.
Right. And your definition, again, it's the same thing I always joke about school. It's the same thing about teachers, and people learn things differently. Some people learn through audio. Some people are visual learners. Maybe Domas just likes how Doug goes about things because I use the word that Domas used in strict. Maybe Mike Brown's definition of strict and Doug Christie's definition of strict just resonate with Domas differently, even though I don't think Mike Brown was just letting them run amok at practice. The issue was they were practicing too much. That sounds strict to me. Like, that sounds strict to me. And the thing with Doug is, it's more free flowing. Mike's offense was way too, it was algebra 2, right? It was way too complex. So there is a little bit of contradiction. I don't want to get too caught up on it. I think the bottom line is Domas is happier with Doug Christie. So in his mind, things are going to be different with Doug Christie. I think some things are actually different with Doug Christie. I think other things feel different with Doug Christie because he likes Doug Christie. And that's just life. That is just life. On the other side, okay. And we are cooking right now. And shout out to TC. I see the text line. I'm going to get to your text as well. And the Sac Chat. On the other side, I say this with love in my heart. It may be time to free Devin Carter. Don't move. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Sacramento gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. When a spouse says, "Thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before," that's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Going back and forth, some people talking about Doug and how he just more of a player's coach than how it seemed Mike Brown was, right? And the player's coach thing is so interesting to me, just in general. Is it because he played? Does that make him more of a player's coach, right? Is Eric Spoelstra didn't play, at least not in the NBA, I mean. Is Eric Spoelstra a player's coach, right? It's just about winning. It's all these buzzwords. Do you win or not? Do you have a good enough roster or not? The Knicks are going to go to the playoffs with Mike Brown. Is he now a better coach than he was in Sacramento? I don't think so. Sometimes your time is just up somewhere. Now he's got a better roster in New York. He does. Does that mean, is Doug a better coach than Mike Brown? I don't know. Mike Brown will probably have more success than Doug this season, especially with them being in the East. No Tatum, no Halliburton. But that doesn't mean that he was still supposed to be the voice for the Sacramento Kings. Now, I don't know that he should have no longer been the voice after 30 games, but it's really tough to kind of diagnose this coaching thing and who's a player's coach. They're just buzzwords, right? You go back to especially when you're an adult. It's different when you're in high school and these guys are older. Obviously, these coaches are mostly older than the players, unless you're LeBron. But in high school, it's different because they're kind of authority figures and they're much older than you, and you're, 15, 16? When you're adults, the players coach thing, and I have said this about being rigid. This is what we're saying about Michael Malone, right? That was a situation where it felt like, and he told us, right? They don't want to watch film. They don't want to do stuff. So that was a more clear-cut version to me than the Mike Brown thing. I just struggle more with the Mike Brown thing because the team just wasn't very good, and we knew that it probably wasn't going to make a lot of sense. So I don't know how much of it was Mike Brown, and then you had the whole thing with De'Aaron Fox. I don't know how much of it was Mike Brown and not being a quote-unquote players coach. We know Michael Malone told us, yeah, we're just not on the same page here.
They'll tell us coach is tripping.
Right, and they had more talent too. So it's just a bit different. And I'm excited to see what Mike does in New York. I'm excited to see, obviously, what Doug Christie does. Because if it doesn't go well, again, in this West, does that mean Doug's a bad coach? I don't think so, because they're picked to win 34.5 games. If they win 35 games and technically exceed the expectations from Vegas and finish the 12th seed in the West, is Doug a good coach or bad coach? I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think just doing the black and white conversation is easy when you're talking about Doug, because, and this goes back to something we talked about when he was hired, no other team in the NBA was going to hire Doug Christie as their head coach versus Mike Brown, been in the league for 25 years, coach of the year, been to NBA finals, almost immediately landed a better job than the one he had in Sacramento. Now, in fairness, the Knicks had to ask 5 current coaches.
He was at the top of the list for coaches that were out of a job, which is still a big deal. And that's more the Knicks being ridiculous and trying to poach current head coaches versus a slight at Mike Brown. Normally, you don't hire coaches that are already employed. That's just the Knicks trying to be the Knicks.
Yes, acknowledging there were extenuating circumstances, Mike left the Kings and got a better job than the one he had, versus Doug gets the Kings job I don't think anyone else was. We talked about it when Scott hired him. Did Scott really get to make this hire, or was it a term and condition that Doug is going to be the head coach?
Yeah, this reminds me of a poetry book that I had a couple of his books growing up, and it's probably before your time, Kyle. I'm not sure, but the millennials and maybe even older than millennials remember Shel Silverstein.
Oh, yes.
And the poetry book that he had that I think my mom still kept for my kiddos, Falling Up, starring Mike Brown, Falling Up. And the picture is a person, they're falling, but their feet are pointed up. That's what Mike Brown did. He fell up.
Well, it's almost like the thing you thought was a bad thing ended up not being a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to you kind of situation.
And now the Kings got their guy. Everybody's happy, and we see what happens from there. Somebody said, shout out to Where the Sidewalk Ends. That's on the Sack chat from T-Boff and Ryan Smith. That's another good one, Where the Sidewalk Ends. Shout out Shel Silverstein.
He's the one with the tree, right? The giving tree?
Is he the giving tree?
I think so, yeah, with the apple.
I read Falling Up 8,000 times. At least 8,000 times. And Where the Sidewalk Ends. Well, is this going to be where the Kings' tenure for Devin Carter ends? As Kyle's talking to some construction workers, so he missed my beautiful. I mean, that was a top-tier senior segue right there, and Kyle missed it. Here's the deal. Going back to number 2 on Matt George's list, Devin Carter was in a blue jersey along with Maxime Reynaud and the two-way guys. All right? This is Jersey Gate. We've done Jersey Gate before, but this was Jersey Gate for starters. Malik Monk, is he going to be starting now? And people will say, Allen, you do too much with Jersey Gate. Sometimes I do, but that's just me. This specific situation, though, based on what we've been told from Scott Perry, what he said with that exclusive sit-down he had with Brendan Nunez, who never came back in, so Brendan must be busy doing something.
He's down the hall.
He's down the hall. You know what? No, he doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to come. I know he got a haircut. He want to show off the new haircut. So what he said about Devin Carter and just growing offensively, I'm starting to put pieces together. He's 23 years old. They drafted a 23-year-old. They're very similar in what they do. You still got Malik Monk. You still got Keon Ellis. It might be time. And they don't owe Devin Carter anything. And I'm on record saying that I didn't want to move off of Devin Carter to just open a roster spot for Russell Westbrook. And I still feel that way. And we got some sound from Sam Amick. He was on the morning show about Russell Westbrook later in the show. So you don't want to miss that. And I still feel that way. But with that being said, they're making it fairly clear that Devin Carter is not a huge part of their future. And it's getting to the point where you're essentially just wasting a spot, in my opinion. And more importantly, you can use that spot with all the guards that you have. He is the one guy, going back to yesterday, where I said I didn't want to move, or I didn't want to make any moves that, quote unquote, improved this roster, right? Because I think this roster is kind of a makeshifty roster, and we know this is not going to, at least we think we know, this is not going to be the roster for the next 5 years, right? I don't know that DeMar DeRozan will be playing basketball within the next 5 years. He probably could, but I don't know that he will. So with that being said, I'm on record stating that if you make a move, it should be making a move to fall up, just like Shel Silverstein said, to get a draft pick for Keon Ellis, get a young talent for somebody else. And you could do that with Devin Carter if you went in the direction of Dalton Knecht. By the way, is Dalton Knecht on the Lakers? I've seen, is he still on the, I've seen Jake LaRavia a ton, Austin Reeves a ton. I've seen LeBron, all these guys, right? Rui Hachimura, they're messing around all this stuff. Dalton Knecht might not be on the Lakers. I don't know where he is.
Not even in a blue jersey?
They're not featuring him anywhere. And we've said, if you want to do that swap, you easily could do that swap. Now, I don't know if the Lakers feel like they need somebody of Devin Carter's skill set, but I would be open to do that. But Devin Carter is the one person, just because I just think he's going to waste away on the bench. He's the one person the one young talent I would be willing to move to improve this team right now. And I don't know how much it would improve the team right now. I was looking up different guys, the Larry Nance Juniors, guys like that, because if you're just not going to play him, that's my argument. Keon is different because Keon is obviously going to play at a high level, and you can use him on this squad. So if you are going to move off of Keon, then yeah, go get a first-round pick or something for the future. But if Devin Carter is just going to waste away on the bench, I don't want to go with Russell Westbrook and open up that spot because I don't want another guard on the team. But I would say if there's somebody out there when it comes to Devin Carter, even if they would help the team now as opposed to in the future, I would be willing to do it because right now I don't see a path for Devin Carter getting legitimate playing time on this team. I don't see it. Let's keep the conversation going on the other side. I want to take a different approach to this strict stuff, not about Domas possibly sneak dissing De'Aaron Fox or Mike Brown, but just why you have to be very careful when you're heading in that direction. Don't move. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
What she has yet to lose since she's gone there. I'm not saying anything. Broke into the top 25 this week. UCLA having a rough year. Maybe this year. Come on over to the. All right, Jason left. Hopefully he'll be back for 3 for. Oh my God! He's got the double hand wave.
You can listen to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 1140 a.m. YouTube or the Sactown Sports app.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities, so do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Into 11/1 select models only.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not
not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-838-6767. That's 800-838-6767.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hey man, gaining weight, low energy, lost drive? It could be your testosterone. Revive Men's Health Sacramento helps men get their edge back. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations.
When men start treatment, it's not just their labs that change. You see it in their posture, their energy, and how they walk into the room. That's why I do what I do.
Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000 or schedule anytime at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sactown Sports.
Yeah, there are a couple names I saw, like I said, I threw out just randomly. Larry Nance Jr. type, just another 4, if you will, to throw into the mix if you wanted to move on from Devin Carter, or you just take another flyer on just another prospect, if you will. The difference is Devin Carter, unless it was a Dalton Connect situation, Devin Carter got first round money. So some of these random 6'9", 6'11" dudes at the bottom of these rosters, the money actually doesn't work because Devin Carter is making a decent bit of change versus these second rounders. So, and I was doing that exercise yesterday. It's not as simple as you would think to just get young player for young player. And if you at that, he's making about $4 million, something like that. So you can move things around. But if there's somebody that's a 4 that could help the Kings out, I would probably do it, to be honest with you.
Even if it was Dalton Connect, I would do it.
I would definitely do it if it was. I think the Lakers are the type that won't play a dude, but still overvalue him. And they would probably say, we don't. They'd rather Dalton sit, because they threw him in trades all off season, and we were told that he doesn't have, similar to Devin Carter, doesn't really have first round value anymore. But I guarantee you, if they were to swap, if the Kings were to come to them with a swap, they would say, oh well, Dalton. They believe that Dalton have more cachet than Devin Carter, whether that's true or not. I don't see the Lakers doing it, but I would do it in a heartbeat. That's who I wanted to begin with.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about it from the Lakers' point. I'm more so saying Dalton Connect is a capital W wing. Like, you're not putting him at the power forward. So it's kind of like young Doug McDermott in a weird way.
And
but
you know what's weird about that? You have Zach LaVine, and this is why Dalton Connect would be a great fit for me. You have Zach LaVine. You have Keegan. You have Keon. You can remind me if I'm forgetting somebody, but the three-point aspect of this team is not extremely deep.
I think Malik can shoot it.
Malik is at about 35%. He shot 32% last season. You have Dennis Schroeder's at 34%. Malik is at 35%. Their streak, how about this? I'm not saying that they can't shoot. I'm saying that the Kings could maybe use another shooter. They're not going to play Doug McDermott.
Yeah, the Kings would have 4 guys who could shoot 40% reasonably for the season if they did that, which right now they have 3. If Keegan's getting to his goal of getting back to 40%, you reasonably have 3 who are probably, in my mind, should probably play together.
But you know what? The other weird thing about that thought process is there's games where Keon doesn't take a shot. So you have that in theory, but now you do the asterisks. You have Kyle, you just said you have 3 guys who shoot it at 40%. Zach LaVine is legit. Keegan didn't shoot it at 40%, but we know he has the capability to shoot
39% after Doug took over.
Keegan did not shoot it at 40%, but we know he has the capability to. And there's Keon Ellis, who is not really slotted in to shoot.
I don't think there's ever going to be a scenario where Keon is at least a 3rd option on the floor.
No.
So it's 4th or 5th. It's like, shoot it if you're open, but
so
otherwise.
In your rotation, you have two offensive threats that technically you have one offensive threat that shoots it at 40%. And I'm saying technically because we should include Keegan even though he wasn't there. So you really have 2, but technically you have 1.
I mean, Sabonis can shoot at 40%.
And so can Doug. They actually have 5.
Instead of the 9-guard rotation, just 5 guys who can only shoot.
Yeah, there you go. As far as the strict thing is concerned, I got caught up and approached it from the sneak dissing point of view. But there's another place that I wanted to take it as well. My worry with the strict stuff is that they haven't played any games yet, right? So there is that hope. And when you're winning, you're all in. But these guys are getting paid a lot of money. And that strict stuff when you're losing, I think that was kind of the Mike Brown thing again. That strict stuff when you're losing can become numb and you can ignore it very quickly. So I think that Doug has to be very balanced with this strict stuff. And again, just because they're strict in training camp doesn't necessarily reflect how they will be during the season. I think you got to be really careful with this strict stuff because you have a rough 21st games and now you got to go run. Nobody cares. I make $20 million a year. I don't care about missing a free throw and having to run liners. We stink.
Yeah, this was the example I always remember was when Joe Judge was the coach of the Giants. He was making players run the field in between practices. And if the players have the respect and trust you as a leader, they will go along with it because they believe in what you're doing.
Right.
But if they just say, "Why do we have to listen to you?"
We stink.
Then it's lost.
Right.
But that goes back to the respect thing that it seems like Doug has, and Doug has the respect of the leader of the team in Domas. If that respect goes away, then yes, people will kind of be like, why do we have to listen to you situation? And that is the textbook example of why NBA coaches get fired, is that they lose the locker room. How many times have the coaches complained about how hard it is to coach in today's day and age because you have to protect the locker room in order to be able to coach?
And there's protecting the locker room, and then there's we're just not very good, right? I mean, the one situation where it's always clear that a coach should be fired is if you're set at 50 wins and you win 34. And it's not all about Vegas, don't get me wrong. But if you do not meet expectations and it ain't close, and I'm not talking about it's time to win a championship, we're the Boston Celtics or we're the Lakers. I'm not talking about those teams. I'm talking about your run-of-the-mill Grizzlies or whoever it is. We're set at 47 wins and we won 34. And then the next season, we were set at 45 wins, and we won 36. That is the most obvious reason to get fired, because that means you have the talent. When it comes to these lesser teams, and this is why we always say what's going to happen with Jordy Fernandez, these teams that stink, and you don't necessarily exceed expectations, but the expectations weren't high anyway, that's when it gets a little bit dicey. Well, did they lose the locker room or did they just stink? And you have to lend itself to the GM and to the owner to make that decision, which is what they did with Mike Brown. But going back to Doug Christie now, if they win 34 games when they were set at 34 and a half, did they lose a locker room, or is that roster just not very good and the West is very good?
See, that's kind of the hard thing, that why it's not always a black and white answer, right? Because I think of Jamal Mosley in Orlando. Like, those teams stunk, but the players were all in on him.
They were supposed to stink.
Yes, they were supposed to stink. Kind of like the Wizards now. His name, Brian Keefe, is the coach. Like, they like him.
Yeah.
And they want him to continue as the coach. But like
the Jazz, they just extended that head coach.
Jazz with Will Hardy, great example. And again, there's different levels because the team being good or bad. Like, Nate McMillan didn't make it in Atlanta because the locker room didn't like him. But
Dagnall, they let him go through the stink.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that's why there's a lot of kind of middle ground to these conversations, and why, in Doug's case, he's probably going to need more than the 20 to 40 game window that this roster is being allowed.
Well, I would hope so. Is Doug going to be the first coach ever to get 2 mulligan seasons? If they blow it, again, not supposed to win a lot of games. If they blow it up at the trade deadline, he would have had taking over after Mike Brown. Next season, they blow it up. Then, okay, now they're going to have to rebuild if they blow it up. He would have the most mulligans. It's like Carmichael Dave golfing. He'd have the most mulligans ever. He'd have a breakfast ball, a brunch ball, a dinner ball. I mean, it actually is possible.
Give me like a 4-minute and 2-second break, and I'll see if I can come up with a coach that got as many like mulligans because of general instability.
Right. And this is the guy that they can do it with, because they don't want to move on from Doug because of the connections, because everybody loves him. When we return, the 12 o'clock hour is upon us. It's Kuminga talk, but not the way you think. Somebody said this yesterday, and it really resonated with me. Did the Kings waste their summer pursuing Kuminga? We hear from the 520 podcast, Jeff Teague and the crew. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
Tonight, 49ers, Rams, kickoff at 5:15 p.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
Your exclusive home for 49ers football.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction, and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the stimp meter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on stimp meter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Sacramento gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations, and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. The spouse says, thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before. That's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This 49ers Red Zone Report is being brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
2nd and goal, just inside the 10. Purdy's under center. Play action. Inside pitch, McCaffrey. He makes the catch. Makes a man miss. Breaks the tackle. And McCaffrey is in. Finally, a touchdown, 49ers. Now they set up the tight end screen left. There's Tonjes. Tonjes is into space. The 5. He dives. End zone. Touchdown.
Ready, set, win big. When the 49ers win, you score. With 49% off any large pizza, only at Mountain Mike's Pizza. Celebrate every game day with your favorites from our legendary crispy, curly pepperoni, bold sauced up wings, garlic butter drenched sides, and gooey sweet desserts, all hot, fresh, and built for a Niners victory. Download the Mountain Mike's app, join Mountain Rewards, and turn every Niners win into a pizza party. Let's go Niners. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports, 1140.
To home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. And we have some sound for you coming up in 30 minutes. And it's commercial free for this next 30 minutes at the top of every hour here on Sactown Sports, home of your Sacramento Kings. Coming up at 12:30, we have Sam Amick, who is on the morning show, talking about the Westbrook market. And to be completely honest with you, I was running around, like I said, this morning. Baby Styles, number 2, was not trying to sleep. So I have not heard this. So I'm excited to listen to this with all of you at 12:30 because I was just talking to Brendan Nunez about Westbrook and what could happen. And I have what Brendan said as well. So we will have all that Westbrook update for you. And spoiler alert, just to tease you to come on back if you got something to do. It might be lunchtime going to get some barbecue. I feel like I need some barbecue. I haven't had barbecue in a while. Some barbecue. I've been grilling a lot lately, though, with the in-laws in town. Got to show off for the father-in-law. But the spoiler alert is it's not done yet with Westbrook. If you thought this thing, the Kuminga might be done for now, but if you thought this Westbrook thing was over, it's not necessarily over. So that's coming up in 30 minutes. Where we want to go right now is the 520 podcast, and it sparked something in me when I heard the guys talking about whether or not the Kings used their time correctly as it pertains to pursuing Jonathan Kuminga in a situation where it was going to be pretty tough to pull it off. They knew there was a line that they didn't want to cross. The Warriors knew there was a line that they didn't want to cross. So it was just a lot of posturing where there kind of is a priority list for the Kings right now and how high that specific Jonathan Kuminga situation should have been on the list. Here is the 520 podcast talking, surprisingly, they talk about everybody. That's why everybody likes this podcast, about the Kings.
What's up with the Kings, man? Like, do they need to free everybody?
Yeah. I mean, I seen they had a 4-people picture. Dennis, DeMar, Zach, and Sabonis. I mean, them 4 is a good, solid 4.
On everything.
You just got to figure out who's that 5th piece that they need.
Yeah, like Keon Ellis-Law, he gets some rotational minutes. Well, Keegan Murray, he should be in that picture.
And I just think I think they got a chance to have a good group, but it's just a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure on Sabonis to be dynamic. All right, you got to get all the rebounds because they're a small team. You got DeMar, you got Zach, and then you got Dennis.
Mm-hmm.
Them all guards, 6'5" and under. Then you got Sabonis at 6'10". I don't think Murray's I think he's good, but I think they need somebody else in that position.
Okay. So obviously Malik Monk, they're trying to move on from his contract and get him in another situation. So his plans will be interested. Devin Carter was a draft pick they had that they for high, but again, another guard and a guard heavy team for sure.
So they needed like John Collins. They needed John Collins.
Kings?
Like another shooting 4 but is a real forward that can rebound and like that. Lob threat. Like Murray is a stretch. He can shoot. He's a 4. He can shoot.
He's more finesse.
He finesse. I like him at a 3 anyway.
Like, now that him on the wing, fire.
Stretch
at least about 6'8".
But
he got a cool little 4 though. They could be able to compete. Hey, it's quiet out here though.
Just free them. That got the first time I heard that when they were like, just
free everybody.
Just free everybody. Just free Devin Carter, free everybody. This is what we've been saying the last 2-3 years. I know Draper is somewhere if he heard this saying, I told you, John Collins. I can't believe the Clippers. Can't believe they pulled that off, man, because they're spot on. And when we had that, and we were saying the same thing when they had De'Aaron Fox. And I know I don't necessarily, it's not that I don't want to make the team better. I don't want to get misquoted. I don't want to give up the future to make this present team better. I don't, now that they decided not to do it, it just kind of is what it is. Do not give up any first round, any draft capital to go. John Collins just went to the Clippers, but do not give up any draft capital to go get that 4 now. I wouldn't do it. Like if they said PJ Washington, right? If PJ Washington became available, we talk about PJ Washington a good bit because Cooper Flagg, who Klay Thompson was glowing over Cooper. I saw clips of Cooper Flagg. He was going crazy, blocking everybody, making shots. So we got clips from the Mavericks. But anyway, if he slides in there and PJ Washington, who's on a really nice contract, what is it, 16 a year, something like that, if they want to move on from him, I would definitely do it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to give any. I'm not giving up Keon. I don't want to give up Keon Ellis. I don't want to give up a first round. I don't want to do any of that for PJ Washington now. That ship has sailed. You were supposed to do that with De'Aaron, or you were supposed to do that when you traded De'Aaron at the very least. You didn't do it, so you can't do it now. But I understand what these guys are saying because that is what they need. And with that being said, as it kind of leads into Jonathan Kuminga, I don't really think Jonathan Kuminga would have helped per se because he's not a, they're both kind of 3s. Keegan's probably more of a 4 than Jonathan Kuminga right now. So I understand why they wanted Jonathan Kuminga, and you could always move things around in the future, but getting that 4, and as much as I like Isaac Jones and I love chatting with him, we had a really nice conversation on Media Day. And the other guy, Dario Saric, Dario was very confused as to why Denver didn't play him. He said he didn't know why they acquired him if they weren't planning on playing him. So we'll see what Dario Saric brings to the fold. But with those guys backing up Keegan Murray, spending the summer trying to acquire Jonathan Kuminga when it was kind of a pipe dream, and we knew that from the start, kind of like, okay, I mean, I'm glad that they didn't give up anything, but if you are a fan and somebody that wanted the Kings to improve, I could see you being a little frustrated because the Jonathan Kuminga play was not for right now.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think back to June. Was there anybody else that was kind of connected?
I'm telling you, man, we heard Cam Johnson back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, at the deadline.
We never even heard, did we hear John Collins stuff, or did we just try to will that into existence?
Well, remember they had, I mean, we know now, we didn't know at the time, but we know now they had the deal for John Collins.
And then there was the whole thing, Mike Brown said he was a low IQ player and things like that.
Yeah, they had the deal done, and they even told players that they were going, which we know now is Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles. They told players it was going to happen, and then they didn't pull the trigger. Right. We don't know if that was De'Aaron Fox related or not, like knowing he wasn't going to stay, but the plan was to bring in John Collins. I don't know if Jeff Teague knows that, but funny enough, that was literally the plan before they traded De'Aaron Fox.
So just looking around, I mean, you know, the pieces that I would be willing, and then again, for them to be saying that the way that we're saying that, and the two people we talked about this summer was Russell Westbrook and Jonathan Kuminga. It feels like something is missing here. Unless Scott Perry, and we spoke to him on Media Day. It was a great conversation. Be sure to check that out on YouTube. Unless, and he would never admit, he can't admit this, right? Unless Scott Perry kind of feels the same way I do. Unless Scott Perry feels like, I'm not going to give up any part of the future to make this current team better. Because let's do the exercise, right? And I don't know who they would have moved, like you said. And it's weird now because of the Zach LaVine situation. But let's just close your eyes, not if you're driving, but let's just whatever with the trade and just drop John Collins into the lineup, right? So John Collins at the 4, Keegan's at the 3, okay?
DeRozan's coming off the bench.
I guess that would be and that's kind of the unsung conversation. They didn't end up moving on from DeMar DeRozan, right? Because the problem is DeMar and LaVine, and at the time it was just Malik, now they have a point guard. So you were to move on from DeMar DeRozan, because I don't know who else, or you're bringing John Collins off the bench. I don't know. I guess let's do that just because of the starting 4. So you have the starting 4. Starting 5 is the same. Schroeder, Keegan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, and DeRozan. And then in this world, just for funsies, John Collins is coming off the bench and just hybrid role, some type of rotation with Keegan Murray, just adding him into the fold. Depending on whatever you had to give up.
Let's say Malik Monk and Saric.
Sure. There you go. How much better is that team, though?
No, it's the same team.
Right? Now, if your value of Malik Monk wasn't that high anyway, again, and don't get caught up on our fake deal here, then maybe it's worth it to do it, right? Because Malik is not necessarily a young player. But if it was them and let's say a low-level first or a couple seconds, so you lost a little bit of draft capital, maybe Scott Perry, and we have to look up how the Clippers attained him, and we can easily do that.
It was for Norman Powell.
So it was that 3-teamer, right? It was the 3-teamer.
How Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson ended up in Utah.
There you go. Yes, it was the 3-teamer. So that's Norman Powell is looked at more positively than Malik Monk right now.
When the trade happened, everyone was like, that was a strange decision by the Clippers.
Yes.
But Powell was on an expiring deal, and they weren't going to give him a new extension.
So the point is, maybe Scott Perry is looking at this like me saying, I can't say this out loud, this is a bit of a stopgap team. We're hoping that it works. We're hoping that it's exciting. We're hoping that it's entertaining. But I am not willing to give up any part of the future to make this iteration of the team better, because ultimately I don't think that it's going to change that much. You add John Collins, they're probably still, you could just drop John Collins into the team right now. They're probably still not picked to make the playoffs. I don't think they are. So now you include the fact that you have to give up stuff, and Norman Powell is pretty decent haul. So that's Malik and maybe even a pick. And Scott Perry may be thinking, this is all me assuming, right? Or just entering this reality where Scott Perry didn't feel like it was the right decision to give up future assets to make this current team better, because DeMar, his contract is not guaranteed next season. Domantas, he'll have, 3 years left next season?
Well, 3 years starting now.
3 years starting now, so that's 2 years at the end of this season. Zach LaVine would only have 1 year. We keep talking about that 2-year plan. We're now getting closer to it. I'm Scott Perry. We're going to have some freedom pretty soon here. I don't want to give up any young assets just to be a little bit better. On the flip side, though, I am interested in a 22-year-old who's actually younger than our most recent draft pick in the first round. I am interested in a 22-year-old, especially at a depressed value, where I can move on from Malik Monk, and it never came out whether they were going to remove the protections or not. The Warriors were just unwilling to do it. I am interested in trying to finesse a situation there, because that goes towards the future. So with all that being said, I actually think Scott Perry, and I'm not just saying this because we spoke and because we follow each other on social media, I actually think Scott Perry did it the right way, because that's how I feel about the team. I'm not saying that Scott Perry feels the way I do and he thinks it's not worth it to make this stopgap team that much better, but whether he says that out loud or not, or whether he believes that or not, or whether that was his reasoning or not, I believe that not giving up any future assets to make this current team a little bit better was the right move.
Yeah, I think the way I would phrase it is Scott Perry hasn't messed this up yet.
Yeah.
Because, he's put in a bad position because they traded De'Aaron Fox for Zach LaVine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically De'Aaron Fox and Kevin Huerter for Zach LaVine, and they're locked into that contract. So he was not given the best hand to begin with. As Brian Windhorst said, they took a pair that did work and imported a pair that did not work.
Right.
But I do think there's still time for this thing to get messed up, right? They're patient right now, but then come the deadline, they could give up future capital for short-term investments. They could give up DeMar DeRozan and not get adequate value for what they gave up in return. Because remember, they gave up on Harrison Barnes, who was a decent player, and a future first-round pick swap that now is guaranteed to be in the bottom 14 to 20 of the draft because the Spurs are going to be in the playoffs with Wemby in 2031. So they did give up that for DeRozan and would not be able to get that back for him at the end. So again, there's ways that they can lose value, but the fact that they have all of their future picks is a positive, and that they haven't given up any of those apart from the aforementioned pick swap in 2031.
I don't want to look. I am not in his brain. I don't know what he's thinking. But if the Kings, this would be the first test, right? Because we know a lot of people feel like ownership will put their hands in things and want to make certain decisions. If they are the 11 or 10 seed, just from the vibe I get with Scott Perry, or even the 9 seed, and maybe I'm just trying to be optimistic here, I don't think they would give up future capital. I don't think so. I think they would just wear it. I think Scott Perry would want to just wear it. Now, would he be able to just wear it based on whether or not that's what ownership wants to do? I don't know. But I do not see Scott Perry as the type of guy, if this team is a 9 or 10 seed, selling on a Keon Ellis, or like you said, because the DeMar thing is confusing because he's older. You might not get adequate value, but he's older. Next season's not guaranteed. DeMar is a tough one, I'm not really too worried about getting value back for DeMar, but getting close and you move on from a Keon Ellis because of the whole contract thing, just to try to sneak into an 8 seed. I would like to say I don't see Scott Perry doing it, but I don't know for sure.
I think I would say it depends, right? Because if it's Kuminga again, I don't think they would overpay or remove the protections for Kuminga, which, by the way, Sam Amick said this morning the Kings were never willing to remove the protections.
Okay, yeah.
So that was never part of the conversation. But if it's Kuminga, I don't think they'd be willing to do it. But just going to throw out a name here. If the Hornets were like, we are having a fire sale, everyone's available, Brandon Miller were available, you might think about giving up future draft capital for a guy like that. No. But that's still my only thing is making this team better though, Kyle. I don't care if they go out and get young talent. I'm saying we just gave up Keon Ellis and Malik Monk for PJ Washington. That's what I'm saying don't do. You can do that for, I don't know about LaMelo, because you can't stay on the floor, and I know Brandon Miller was injured too, but you could do that for young players. I have no problem with that because you're restarting. I'm talking about trying to make a push to get the 8 or 7 seed. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, and quite frankly, I don't think those moves would even move the needle enough because, this is a very big NBA thing, your 3 to 4 best players are what's most important. We started off this segment with the 520 pod talking about the 4 guys in that photo that I know I made fun of and a lot of other people were making fun of Dennis and LaVine and DeRozan and Sabonis. Your 4 best players matter so much in the NBA that you need to improve upon that. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is Keegan makes a leap, they trade DeRozan for something better than DeRozan, or Zach LaVine and Sabonis take a leap. That's really the only way.
DeRozan.
Yeah.
Say it like that.
I'm just saying something that is better, that will make you a better team than having DeRozan.
But that's the weird thing about this team. Okay, go trade DeRozan for John Collins right now. Zach LaVine ready to be a number one every single night, and now Keegan a number two. I don't think so. That is the biggest conundrum with DeMar DeRozan, because they really don't have a. If they move DeMar, I don't know that they have a straight-up traditional one the same way all these other teams in the West do. So that's the tough part about everybody. Oh, let's just move on. Let's just move on from DeMar DeRozan. Tell me for what? Tell me realistically for what? Because DeMar was the one that was able to bail them out in a lot of those situations. So if you don't have DeMar, we've seen them try to kind of force feed Zach LaVine, and it wasn't bad. He averaged 24 points a game. He did that with the Bulls. I just would like to see more of it before I feel comfortable saying, yeah, move on from DeMar for a better fit at the 4, and they're still going to be as dynamic and trustworthy offensively. I can't say that. Not with Malik, and kind of not sure where his role is going to be. Not with Keegan Murray, who now maybe Keegan takes a bit of a leap because there's a real 4 and he doesn't have to guard 4s anymore. But that's a lot of ifs. That's a lot of ifs right there.
Okay, I'm thinking right now of like who would be the upgrade in a DeRozan case, and the thing that my mind is saying is a player like Paul George that isn't Paul George. I can't think of who the player is, but like if you made that upgrade, I could justify giving up like this year's first-round pick or the 2030 first or something like that.
They're not making a lot of Paul Georges. Well, you know who it would be? It would be Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, that's a good
Is
one.
Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, that's a great example.
If you want to continue now, I would do a Brandon Ingram DeMar DeRozan swap right now, because I think that Brandon Ingram is still more mid-range heavy, but is obviously younger and can shoot the 3-ball and can distribute it, and it would still allow. And he might be. You never know with the Raptors, man. He might be available.
DeMar and Monk, bring him back.
I mean,
run it back.
When we talked to S, who covers the Raptors, he said, I think we're solid right now. But at that time, they didn't have a GM or president of basketball operations. But somebody like that, and this is again to just keep this train rolling. Maybe you don't want to keep this train rolling, and maybe you're just trying to get through this season. So there's a lot of ways to look at it. We got some text here. 916 says, well, first of all, there's a 925 that says, take Kuminga off our hands and get us Monk. So that sounds like we have a double agent, because my area code is 925 as well. So that's a Warrior fan on the text line who wants Malik Monk. 916 says, why are you pretending Perry had any more autonomy than the other GMs under Vivek? You're basically saying Vivek is a changed man, and there are no facts to back that up. Well, there are no facts to say that Scott Perry didn't make. Yeah, there's no facts the other way as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that? And here's the thing with this autonomy thing. You think Vivek is in the war room saying, get me Neek Clifford, right? There were certain things. We don't have any examples yet. We had examples with Monty McNair, and I understand you are scarred from years past, but there's a reason he almost feels like he brought in Scott Perry to save himself from himself. Whether that will actually happen, we don't know. But we know what happened with Monty McNair, and even going back to DeMar DeRozan, and obviously the trade for Zach LaVine. I'll give you that, 916. But Scott Perry hasn't really done anything. The only thing, as we're going to talk about as on the other side, is the Westbrook conversation. And I think Scott Perry actually wanted Westbrook. But that was the one guy where we said, could this be an ownership thing? But I have no reason to believe whether he has changed or not. I think that Scott Perry is just doing his job. I don't think that he showed up and immediately Vivek was saying, hey, let's go draft Neek Clifford. I've been grinding film. I don't think it's that deep. I think there are certain things, and we know the patterns. They've loved Zach LaVine, right? Brand names, big names. But there haven't been, the only one I would have a conversation about is if they do bring in Westbrook. because that would fit the mold as to things that they like to do. But they haven't done enough for us to claim that Scott Perry does or doesn't have more autonomy than the other GMs. Vivek was never going to be in that war room. And maybe even Dennis, I think Dennis Schroeder, everybody wanted Dennis Schroeder. That's what they're all saying. Mary Francis from the 530 says, how about some positivity? And instead of saying Scott Perry hasn't messed things up yet, that was Kyle, by the way, Scott Perry has made some intelligent moves while simultaneously giving the players from last year a chance to gel with a stable coach, training camp, etc. That's beautifully said, Mary. I agree. That sounds like ChatGPT. Was that ChatGPT, Mary?
I was gonna say I don't know if I agree necessarily, but that's a nicer way to say it.
Well, no, I do agree. The intelligent moves being the draft picks, and he's giving them an opportunity. Now, he might be giving them an opportunity because the trade market wasn't as hot as maybe he thought. But there's no, again, this is mulligan season for Scott Perry, in my opinion. He gets a mulligan on this one because he didn't add in Zach LaVine. He didn't add in all the deals that they have right now. So there's only so much he can do, to Mary's point. Shout out to Mary. On the other side, we discuss Russell Westbrook, that market, what Sam Amick had to say on the morning show. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up next.
Tonight, 49ers, Rams, kickoff at 5:15 p.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
Your exclusive home for 49ers football.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Get ready for 2 epic showdowns of Monster Truck Madness at the Stockton Dirt Track, Saturday, October 4th. Feel the roar, the power, and the ground-pounding action. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Do you have what it takes to survive the madness? Get your tickets now at StocktonDirtTrack.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say we can beat that price, and usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company, American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
A men's health moment with Revive Men's Health.
1 in 3 men over 45 may have low testosterone. Revive Men's Health offers free T-checks and tailored treatment plans, so you can get back to feeling like yourself.
Learn more at revivemenshealth.com.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
In 30 minutes, we have some sound from Dan Orlovsky and the four-letter network crew. So who you should pick tonight. And it's good news for Niner fans, I'll tell you that. Not about the injuries. But these situations where, and the Rams, they're kind of allergic to close games. But these situations where you have no chance at all, right? You're supposed to have no chance at all. That is where, like the Packers and the Cowboys. Now, again, the Packers like to put themselves into bad situations, but we have that sound coming up at 1 o'clock, and it's going to make you feel good and definitely make me feel good about the Mac Jones conversation. Also, in about 15 minutes, we have our Drew Eubanks interview that we spoke with Drew, first time, obviously, speaking with him, the newest Sacramento King. Spoke with him on Monday, and it was really great stuff, what he had to say. And there was something in particular that stuck with me about taking the shot when you have it. And Drew, in his career, 8th season of his career, he wants to be the best version of himself, whether that's a backup center, whatever the case is. He wants to make sure that he is giving all that he can to the team, not just defensively, but offensively as well. So you really don't want to miss that Drew Eubanks interview coming up at 12:45 because it was a really good one. And I think he was our first player. He was the first player that we spoke to.
We had Scott and then him. First one and my personal favorite. This was the most real, I mean, not that players weren't real, but the most revealing, candid interview I think we had all day.
Right. I mean, Malik is always in that conversation, but also we had never talked to Drew before, so you don't know what you're going to get. So it was great stuff. That's coming up in 15 minutes. Kyle, let's hear from Sam Amick. And if you thought the Westbrook convo was over, and I saw some of these quotes during the break, it's a good one. Here's Sam Amick on Russell Westbrook and the Kings.
I don't really know who else is contemplating Russ other than the Kings, and I do still think he's on their radar, and the way it has been put to me is if they come off another guard, then Russ could be a possibility, and I can see that happening later in the year. It's crazy because he had some really good moments with Denver, but here I am in San Diego, and the harsh truth, for Nuggets training camp, and the harsh truth is that their lack of desire to bring him back is absolutely an indictment of, he can get mad all he wants about the way he gets discussed, but this is now 3 teams in a row that have chosen not to bring him back. Now, the Kings thing, and I've had conversations with them about this, it sounds like the veterans on this team would love to play with him and have been giving a thumbs up on that front. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see it happen down the road. I also noticed the other day, and hopefully I didn't fact check this, but that Russ is not that far from becoming the highest scoring point guard of all time, which if you're him and you've already had a pretty accomplished career, I'm sure that's something he wouldn't mind, kind of adding another notch in the belt. But all that being said, like, man, he had some really good moments basketball-wise with Denver, and he is a guy who, when he's in a good headspace, can, show young guys about work ethic and competitiveness and things of that nature.
That was Sam Amick on Russ, and here's the quote for you again. You can check it out on our Sactown Sports Instagram. Quote, "It sounds like veterans on Sacramento would love to play with him and have been giving a thumbs up on that front. So it wouldn't surprise me to see it happen down the road." And again, I said I wouldn't do it, but does feel like the Devin Carter thing is a fairly clean one. It's a fairly clean one. There's a couple other options they could go to and go through with, but it's right there.
Maybe that's why it hasn't happened yet. Because as soon as the Kuminga thing got resolved, they can sign Russell Westbrook. There is nothing stopping the Kings financially, roster spot wise. There is nothing preventing them from right now signing Russell Westbrook. So why have they not done it? It seems to be because they want to move either Malik or Devin Carter before, so that way there's no question about who has the runway.
Right.
Or just bringing in another guard, which we talked about that before you left, right? At this stage, you're better off just bringing in Westbrook and letting Carter sit on the bench and go to Stockton and figure stuff out than you are just giving up on the Devin Carter experiment.
Well, one thing we didn't talk about either, I was out. What was up with the Kings, the Terrence Davis thing, signing Terrence Davis?
Well, he's on the Exhibit 10, so he's probably going to end up in Stockton.
Right. Yeah.
They waived him from the NBA roster, but I'm guessing he's going to be in Stockton. He's also, I know you can go to Matt George's Twitter if you want to. He has the video of them running at practice. He's technically wearing the gray jersey at practice, so I don't know whether he's actually part of the rotation. He's not going to make the team.
Gray was roster. Blue was two-way.
No, gray was backups, so
Right.
it's like inner squad. Black
Right.
was starters,
Yeah.
gray was backups.
But that's what I'm saying. Gray was on the roster. Blue was two-way. Blue was Stockton.
No, I mean blue is third string.
/ Stockton.
Sure, yeah. It was the guy. I mean, Doug McDermott was also in the blue jersey, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you need shooting.
Yeah,
for the scrimmage.
Exactly. So it was Maxime, it was Devin, it was Isaiah Stevens.
So the idea, the Terrence Davis thing is now separate from, hey, let's waive Terrence Davis and bring in Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, exactly. They have an open roster spot. They waived Terrence Davis to open up a roster spot.
They did the thing, but they just haven't brought in Russell Westbrook yet.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't done anything. They just created a roster spot.
Well, I'm saying that they did the thing that we kept saying. Well, if they're going to get Russell Westbrook, and not just us, the whole station, a lot of Kings content and media, waive Terrence Davis and just bring in Russell Westbrook. So they did the first thing. They just didn't. They haven't done the second thing, and maybe that goes to not necessarily the roster construction, but, hey, we don't want any – everything is so transparent. Again, 18th time I've used that word. Everything is so transparent. We don't want Russ here, and they're fighting for playing time with Malik, fighting for playing time with Devin. I'll say this, and obviously I'm not objective here. Moving off Malik, because he's my guy. I mean, that conversation, go check it out on YouTube. Moving off Malik for Russell Westbrook, that's just something I'm just not ever going to support. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get it. Moving off of Devin Carter for Westbrook, too, is like a low upside decision, too. Even though Westbrook would be better right now, I just think Devin has, unless you're getting something for Devin, which it seems like he has no market right before the season starts, why would someone, all these rosters are set. Why would someone make the trade now for something worthy of value? Like, if you're just giving up on him for a second round pick, then he's better off just sitting on the bench and wearing the blue jersey than he is just going to some other team for a future second.
Yeah. So it is, it'll be interesting as far as where the Kings go. I think it would be exciting if it's not because of moving off of a Malik or Devin Carter, if it is because of a Terrence Davis. I think it would be exciting, but I'm not sure that some of the names they could move off him for would be the right move. But getting him, and like Sam Amick said, if he eclipses that top scoring point guard list in a Kings uniform, that's a great memory that a lot of people would have. And you start looking for, I guess, tiny victories, if you will, when you're talking about a season where it's going to be tough, right? It's going to be really tough to make some moves in the West. Not impossible, but, you start looking around. I mean, Domas, he had that streak. What was that, last season? So there were a couple things to be happy about, and you go from there. But I wouldn't move off of Malik for him, and I probably wouldn't move off of Devin Carter for him unless they're really just hung up on we don't have enough point guard play. And that was part of my conversation with Malik. I think they do. But if they don't feel like they have enough and Devin Carter doesn't really help that situation, my issue is it's just Devin is for about 1 year of Westbrook. I guess he could probably play 2. He probably wants to play 2, but it's really for 1 year, and you're moving on from Devin Carter for it. All right, Drew Eubanks interview on the other side. Get to know the new big man on the Kings. That's coming up. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, 49ers, Rams. Kickoff at 5:15 p.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
Your exclusive home for 49ers football.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Kohl's Friends and Family Sale is so good, you'll want to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Yep, the only thing you're picking up is deals. Now through Sunday, take an extra 20% off all your fall favorites. From soft throws to slow cookers, warm flannels to cozy cardigans. Plus, earn $10 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. So go ahead, let those notifications wait, because these prices won't. Select styles, some exclusions apply. 20% offer ends October 5th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week, and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Hold the onions. For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Kohl's Friends and Family Sale is so good, you'll want to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Yep, the only thing you're picking up is deals. Now through Sunday, take an extra 20% off all your fall favorites. From soft throws to slow cookers, warm flannels to cozy cardigans. Plus, earn $10 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. So go ahead, let those notifications wait, because these prices won't. Select styles, some exclusions apply. 20% offer ends October 5th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
When I was in Iraq, our convoy was hit. It was bad.
After I came home, I could still hear booms and see tracer fire. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
With help from DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Today, I'm part of DAV. We're veterans helping veterans to get the benefits they've earned. And I give my veterans my all.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Naomi Mathis, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
Live and local
It's Allen Stiles.
on Sactown Sports.
Man, I can't stand when commercials ruin songs, because now this reminds me of that one commercial.
The Walmart commercial?
Yes. Ah, my goodness. You played that. I'm thinking, honestly, you played it. I thought we were still on a break. I thought it was a new commercial, and then I looked up at you and I heard the tag, and I knew that we were back. Now that we are back, the newest Sacramento King, the newest big man to help out that front court, Drew Eubanks, gives a really, really open interview as he tells us why he decided to come to Sacramento, what he thinks he can bring to the squad, and what he's excited about.
Not the newest, possibly?
Maybe one of the newest.
Yeah, Sacramento King Drew Eubanks. Thank you so much for joining us.
Might have been one of the last ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Last man standing.
Oh, well.
But first man to show up.
That's all right. First one in the building, last one out.
There you go.
That's right.
That's
See, you're already saying the things we like to hear, Drew. Drew, how was your summer so far, being able to join the Kings and all that's come with that? The city is Sacramento. How was your summer as a whole?
It's been great, man. You know, going into free agency, really I wanted to get with a team that was going to believe in me and give me the tools to, you know, succeed. And so far, meeting with all the coaches, meeting with the players, everybody here has been great. I think we're going to have a really special year. Being on the outside looking into what the Kings have done the last couple of years, really impressed with how they've been able to compete every single year, it feels like, in the tough Western Conference. So I like how we basically have a new team, new front office, new coaching staff. Everything's new. So we're ready to impress some people.
Now, here's the deal. You're new to Sacramento. You're new to the team, but you're not new to the league. So, so you've walked in this building before. Tell us what you think. What did you think about Sacramento coming in as an opposing player?
I'll be honest. I hated it. I hated coming here just because the fans get so into it, and, you know, they're letting you hear it from behind the bench. You know, you're getting in arguments, yelling at fans, and they're yelling at coaches and all this stuff. So I'm excited to be on the other end of that and have that sort of camaraderie and the fandom cheering us on. I think the most similar place I've played in that's similar to this place would be Portland, where they're just there year round, just supporting the team, and I feel like that's how Sac is. with, because there's no other team here besides the A's temporarily, but they really rally around the Kings.
Talking to Drew Eubanks, Kings big man. Drew, how do you see yourself fitting alongside Domantas Sabonis in terms of the front court responsibilities, things you think that you can kind of help out with and learn from Sabonis and vice versa? How do you see yourself fitting alongside with Domas?
Yeah, I've always admired Domas's game from afar. It's been tough guarding him over the years. Just the way he's able to handle the ball, get guys moving on offense. Like, he runs just a lot of, hey, he's got the ball, screen, guys run off of him, get easy points. That's how I like to play. I like screening to get guys open. So I think bringing a physicality off the bench, playing with him at the same time every now and again will be good. But, man, I've just been a huge fan of his over the years. And, like I said, I didn't like coming to Sacramento because I knew I was going to have to guard him, catch a couple elbows.
Yeah.
So I'll be catching elbows in practice, but I'll be not in the games.
You know what? I want to ask you this: the style that the Kings want to play. Is there a certain style you like more so than other, or can you run a slow down, methodical type offense, and can you equally run an up tempo offense?
I think we can run a slow, methodical offense, but the message from Doug so far this offseason has been we're going to be in the best shape out of any other team in the league. So we're going to be playing fast. It's going to be a lot of not a lot of sets. Offense will take care of itself, but we're going to be getting the rebound and kicking up the floor and just playing that 0.5 basketball. I think that plays well to my play style, getting up, being athletic. And, I think there'll be time and a place for slow, methodical plays, but it's going to be a lot of up-tempo.
Okay. Drew Eubanks, if there's a Kings fan right now that might not be as familiar with who you are as everybody knows the name, but who you are as a basketball player, how would you describe yourself to that Kings fan listening in their car right now or watching on YouTube? How would you describe yourself as a player?
I would describe myself as a guy you'd want to have on your team. You'd hate playing against, but want to have on your team. And I just try to bring a sense of physicality to everybody that I play against. I love seeing my teammates do well. I've been working hard every single year of my career, and I feel like this season is going to be somewhat of a culmination of what I've been able to put in the off season. And I'm going to be shooting more, going to be just more of an offensive threat, not looking to defer as much, but just, this is my 8th year in the league. Like, at some point you got to just take the shot, you know?
Right.
And so I feel like I'm at that point where I'm just ready to prove myself and to help this team win.
Cool. I'm with it.
Yeah. The other thing, like you said, 8th year in the league, you've gotten a chance to play with KD, Dame Lillard, James Harden, Kawhi, Devin Booker, LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar. If you had to pick, who would you say has been your, best teammate or who you've had the most fun playing with throughout your career?
It's tough. It's tough to choose because these are all Hall of Fame players, man. And every season has come with different just joys and stuff. But I would probably say Dame just because I'm from Portland.
Okay.
And getting to play there was it was the best time of my career.
Yeah.
He just made the game so easy for me. Like, set a pick, get him open, he's going to shoot it. If he gets double teamed, he's going to kick it to me, play downhill. That was probably the highlight of my career so far, is being able to play with him, and glad he's back in Portland, man. The city needs it.
Definitely.
I will ask you this. As a rookie, we all go through it. Who was the guy that when you came into the league, took you under their wing and said, hey, you're my rook, I'm going to show you how to be a pro?
I would say Patty Mills.
Okay.
I got to play with him for half a season full season, because we both got traded to the Clippers. But he just really embraced me as a two-way coming into the league, and would always take me out to dinner. I'd have questions like, I'm trying to get off the two-way. I want to get a minimum contract. Like, how do I do that? And he laid it out for me because he was a Spurs legend, won a championship, knew what they wanted, and was a huge influence in my life back then. Got to play with him last year. Last year was a bit of a struggle for different reasons, but we ended up getting through it together. My wife, his wife, very close. We're just really close. So,
and people really don't understand how much that helps you as a rookie to have a veteran to take you under their wing and show you. Because I always say, just because you play professional basketball doesn't constitute you as being a pro. You have to learn how to be a pro.
Yeah. No, and he just made it real simple. And I remember he said something to me one time. I was like, what do I need to do to strive to thrive and stick around the league? He's like, man, if you can just rebound, play your ass off, defend, just do all the things you need to do, you'll be in this league for as long as bring energy, be in this league for as long as you want. I wrote that on my phone, and it's still in there to this day.
There you go. Drew, one more for you, because you brought up something when we were discussing free agency. We were just talking about ESPN did this top 100 list, and there's so many lists these days it's hard to keep up. Did you feel like when you were looking at Sacramento and you see a Zach LaVine and you see a DeMontis Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan, did you feel like maybe this roster, I don't know if underrated is the right term, but did you feel like there was a lot of untapped potential, if you will, with this roster when you see you got a couple future Hall of Famers on the team? I know the West is tough, but did that go into your free agency thoughts to say, nobody is talking about the Kings, and I know they had a rough season, but they got some big names out here.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like on paper, we look great, you know, and I'm not going to – we got to put it together in practice at the end of the day. Yeah. But, yes, I did look – I'm like, damn, there's no reason why we can't compete in the West with what I'm seeing. Like, it's anybody's game or anybody's year every year. Like, it's not the most talented team that's won the last couple of years. It's been the most together team. You look at OKC, Denver. I'm forgetting who else has won, but it's been different every single year. You're not going to get the super teams like you did in the LeBron, D-Wade era. Like that stuff's over with. It's the most together team. Yeah. And we've been in the gym since September 15th. All the young guys and myself and a bunch of guys have been in here the whole month and even before that. So we've just been building something over the last month that I feel like is really going to pay off once the season starts.
Drew Eubanks, one of the newest Sacramento Kings. Drew, thank you so much. Come back on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Anytime you need any food recommendations,
make
sure people got you solid. Type of food that you like? Any favorite type of food?
Seafood. I know we're a little inland, but we're still close to the ocean.
Oh, no, we got you. Yeah. We got you. All right, I'll put the word out, and we'll get it taken care of for you. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
That was Drew Eubanks, big man for your Sacramento Kings.
That was Drew Eubanks, newest Sacramento King, big man for the Kings. We need that front court beef, and Drew Eubanks is here to provide. 1 o'clock hour coming up next. When we return, Steve Young speaks on Brock Purdy's injury, and the Get Up crew has some good news for Niners fans. Also, MLB playoffs, Shador miming an interview, and where Allen was right and wrong with his NFL takes so far. Don't move. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, 49ers, Rams. Kickoff at 5:15 p.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
Your exclusive home for 49ers football.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Sactown Sports 49ers report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. Niners suffer their first loss of the season, 26-21 to Jacksonville. Brock Purdy returned after missing 2 games and threw for over 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns, but also had a couple of interceptions. Travis Etienne rushed for 124 yards and a TD for Jacksonville. Quick turnaround for SF as they travel to LA on Thursday for a big divisional matchup. Catch the game this Thursday beginning at 4 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price, and usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company, American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sactown Sports has your ticket to the biggest live events going on in our region. First up, get in the game Halloween weekend at the Sinners and Saints Halloween Party and Costume Contest at the venue at Thunder Valley, October 25th. Then, country fans, the spotlight on the brand new Channel 24 venue in Sacramento as Cameron Marlowe takes the stage October 28th. Comedy lovers, don't miss the one and only Trevor Noah, November 9th at the venue at Thunder Valley. The action keeps rolling with Jesse McCartney at Channel 24 Sacramento on November 14th. The same night, legends, the Isley Brothers bring the soul to Hard Rock Live. Rock icons Heart storm Hard Rock Live on November 21st, followed by the Stray Cats November 23rd. Laugh it up with Mike Epps on December 5th at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Sactown Sports is your home court for live events. Head to SactownSports.com. That's SactownSports.com for more info.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Sacramento gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. The spouse says, thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before. That's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports, 1140. Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
1-0. Oh, nice play. Tigers third baseman. Tigers are up. Stephen Kwan, future Giant, grounds out. And the Tigers are looking to do the unthinkable, beat the Cleveland Guardians at home. So they would have won 2 games on the road. And that's quite the trick off. Any team that loses 2 games at home in a winner-take-all, that's the trick off.
Didn't that used to happen like all the time when the wild card first started? It's like all the 5s and 6 seeds would win.
It's still the trick off. And you know what? I saw somebody say they felt annoyed because when the A's were good, that was the time where it was the 1-game playoff. And the A's were just allergic to winning that 1 game.
Oh,
and they were salty because of all the game 3s today because they felt, man, if the A's had obviously been good at that time, maybe would have had some game 3s at least.
The one I still remember was they played Tampa.
Yep.
I think that was the one Chapman Olsen.
Was that in Oakland?
Yeah, it was in Oakland, but they went down like 5-0 like immediately, like top of the first before people even had a chance to sit down. It was like, oh, Yandy Diaz home run, and now they're down 5-0.
And it's cooked.
Yeah, and
Whole season cooked.
One game, season's over, which they technically made the playoffs the next year, but that was it was during the COVID year, so there was no one in the stands.
Yeah, so that's what is happening. More MLB playoffs coming up. Obviously, the big one. Yankees, Red Sox. And you know what the Red Sox...
I mean, speak for yourself, you know.
What time is Padres Cubs?
2:00.
Okay.
So right as the show's ending. Tough break for Whitey. He's going to miss the whole game.
He's going to be like this, just looking at the screen the whole time. So the thing about the Red Sox right now, they remind me, there's these teams, man, that I can't keep up with, where all of a sudden it feels like all of their farm system players hit, but they don't necessarily hit for a long time. I feel like what the Red Sox are doing this season, it's what the Orioles did. And I don't know if the Red Sox are going to win tonight. And they have Bregman and Chapman, but it's what the Orioles did a couple years ago. It's what the Rangers did with Bruce Bochy. Now, the Rangers did pay some guys. You had...
Paid a lot of guys.
Yeah, they had Seager, right? They had... Marcus Semien. But then they had random dudes that they pulled up that just were really hot that season and then stopped, and then, oh, you're actually not going to be like this every season.
Josh Jung.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the Red Sox because they're all kind of victory lapping. We moved off of Rafi Devers. We don't need him. But they have a bunch of dudes that are balling out, and we have no clue if they're going to be good in the future or if they're just good because there's not a extensive scouting report on them right now.
You know what's funny is that that's kind of also the Yankees right now too. Like I know they have
the Ben Rices of the world.
Yeah, it's Volpe, it's Dominguez.
But you know what? And Jason and Frankie, they can get annoyed at me. That's fine. Trent Grisham.
We bring the
Frankie, I just don't ever see Frankie. Trent Grisham with, what do you have, 20 home runs? And Jazz Chisholm with 30? A 30-30 guy?
Yeah.
This is, I understand, and Jason said, we were talking before Crosstalk, and he said, hey, actually, I saw a report, it was a Yankees guy that said Aaron Judge would have had more home runs this season if his home field was Seattle, saying that Seattle was actually more of a bandbox than the Yankees, but he's also not left-handed. But there's no reason Trent Grisham and Jazz Chisholm should be walking around here combining for 50 home runs in a season.
No, Trent Grisham, as a Padres fan, Trent Grisham was awful. I'll never forget the 2022 season. Trent Grisham had the worst batting average in the history of Major League Baseball.
Oh, excuse me. No, Kyle.
It's even more.
He had 34 home runs.
Grisham?
He had 34 home runs, Grisham.
Yeah.
And I know Jazz had 30.
It's impossible. Grisham, when he was on the Padres one year, had the worst batting average of any player who had like 550 at-bats. Like, just was a terrible hitter, but was great on defense. And now he's an all-star.
And I'm telling you right now, because I saw this, shout out to Locked On Giants. I know there's some commenters that'll cross-collaborate, be in this chat and be in the other one. Don't do it, Giants. This is your Malik Beasley. Do not fall for it. Do not sign Trent Grisham. Playing at Yankee Stadium is not like playing at Oracle. I like Trent Grisham as a center fielder. Do not 34 home. Do not fall for it.
This is the Jorge Soler.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Soler power. Don't do it, Giants.
Well, okay, so this is kind of the funny thing because you're right. There is a win or go home Yankees-Red Sox game at Yankee Stadium tonight, and it feels like nobody in baseball is hyped about it. And I think part of it is that we just don't know any of these guys on the team, right? It's Grisham hitting 34 homers for the Yankees, and he's one of the ones you actually know.
Well, the Yankees have the star power. They got Stanton, who just hates running to first base.
He just can't do it anymore. He just physically can't.
Yeah, he just turns back to the dugout if he hits the ball on the ground.
I imagine they icy hot his back every time before he goes up.
You got Aaron Judge, of course, and he struck out in a big spot yesterday, and Jazz Chisholm. But yeah, the problem is everybody keeps turning on the TV saying, "Oh, Bregman's on the Red Sox." Like, nobody knew.
Well, and the Yankees, the rest of them are young guys. Even tonight, again, a winner go home game is rookie Connolly Early versus rookie Cam Schlittler.
Yeah, I was going to say, be very careful with that last name.
Yeah, got to be careful. Cam Schlittler. God, what a great name. And honestly, like,
I'm just not saying it.
But 4 weeks ago, if you had asked me, and I'm fancy myself a bit of a baseball fan, I wouldn't have been able to tell you who was pitching for what team.
And everybody forgets that Paul Goldschmidt is on the Yankees.
He's hitting leadoff.
And that's the type of stuff that honestly just really grinds my gears about baseball.
This was the other one that I knew was there, but I had forgotten because I hadn't watched the Yankees in a couple months. Bellinger.
Yeah.
It's a Yankee playing left field.
Yeah, and he didn't play yesterday, which is weird because Grisham's also left-handed, so I don't know why he didn't play. Oh, excuse me, he did play left field. They moved Grisham he was messing around in center a little bit, but they moved Grisham to center, and obviously Aaron Judge and right. So yeah, Bellinger's their 3-hitter, which is now the new 3-hitter. Actually stinks now.
Yeah, 3-hitter should be Trent Grisham.
Right.
Since we're here, it should just be
34 home runs. So
what was his average? Because I know his average is he's just one of those dudes that's just he's the 3 true outcome guy.
This is Will Clark. Remember that audio that we can't play because he cusses so much? But this is Will Clark's nightmare. 235, 34 home runs.
Yes, but this is the thing. Trent Grisham used to be 198 and 17 home runs.
This is insanity. His OPS is 811. Is there anyone on the Giants that sniffed that?
Devers got there.
I was going to say maybe Devers is it.
Adames, I feel like, had to get there. It's got to be. Let's just see real quick. But I feel like there's got to be at least a couple.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, and then Frankie and not so much Jason, but they want to sit there and say, well, they got to play on the road too or whatever it is. Just stop it.
Okay, sorry. What was the number that we're looking for here?
811.
Rafael Devers was 807.
Yeah. And I know nobody
leading the team.
I know nobody. Yeah, nobody. Was anybody else in the 8s?
Nope. Chapman 770, Adames 740, Jung-Hoo Lee 735. Just for reference, I know we're throwing this out. League average is like 720. So
I'm so done with the Yankees.
This
is so fake.
Elliot Ramos was an average hitter at 728. Basically.
Guess what Jazz Chisholm's OPS was?
800?
813.
Yeah, that's insane.
This isn't reality.
Jazz Chisholm had a higher OPS than any Giant. That just seems impossible.
31 home runs. Look, I'd love to have Jazz on the team. 30 home runs, and that would never happen. The only reason I would have Jazz is because you need a second baseman, even though I like Casey Schmidt. But he also steals bags. The Giants have been second to last in stolen bases, I feel like the last decade, but I think it's the last 5 years. All right, Kyle, let's get to some Niners talk. And we have a couple clips for you. The first one is Steve Young, from experience pretty much, talking about Brock Purdy's injury to all the mac and cheese heads out there. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ligament of the big toe. And if you think about, like, if he's righty, so it's on his right foot, and that's the plant foot. Think about standing on your heel off of your toes and trying to jump. You can't even get air. So the whole throw is really through your right big toe, if you want to think about it that way. And so for Brock, you saw him last week, he had to stay off of it. So what you do is you start your throwing motion, you can't dig in with your toe, so you come over the top like a catapult, right? And then all of a sudden the throws are high, they're not as crisp, and it's like you have to manage. Now look, people play hurt all the time, so you manage it. You have to figure it out. But that like your thumb on a throwing hand, the big toe and the thumb are kind of related in how much drama there is in trying to overcome an injury like that.
Doesn't sound great, but it does sound like it is a pain tolerance thing to a certain degree, which is why Brock was out there. And I thought that was a great explanation. And you know me, look, Steve Young, lefty. I was watching the Cowboys. We never finished it because we ended up having the baby, so now we just don't watch anything. But we were watching the Cowboys documentary, and Steve Young just giving the Cowboys fits over and over again. So Steve Young's my guy, and that breakdown of the turf toe was very well done, and it sounds like there's going to be more mac and cheese time, Mac Jones time. Speaking of, here is the Get Up crew giving their diagnosis on what could happen today and if the Niners have a shot. Here it is.
Here's what I see from the 49ers. Can McCaffrey have, realistically, 35-plus touches because they are decimated on offense? Can he be one of those or have one of those just ridiculous performances? Now, the Rams defense is fantastic, so I think that's a massive challenge. That's the most likely way that the 49ers can keep it close and give themselves a chance. McCaffrey has 35-plus touches, 200 all-purpose yards, and they have 2 or so takeaways. Then I think they can hang.
I'm taking San Francisco solely because of the Adam Schefter theory. You said it last week at this table. No one thinks the Cowboys have any chance to play with the Packers. Next thing you know, they're right there at the end. This game in every way suggests the 49ers should have no chance, which is exactly why, for some reason, they'll find a way to win.
That was the Get Up crew, Greeny, and, of course, Dan Orlovsky. Greeny trying to make you feel good just because, yeah, I mean, it is a game that they don't have any business winning, and it feels like those games lately, what was it, the Giants-Chargers? Everybody was rocking with the Chargers because they'd been rolling.
They're 3-0.
Yeah, they're 3-0, and Jackson Dart had something to say. But my issue is I'm kind of cheating, Kyle, looking at Prop Talk right now. I tried to tell you, Christian McCaffrey receiving yards.
Is it like 80?
No, but 50.5.
Okay.
50.5. And I think you get there two ways. And part of this is talking about the game. Part of this is just actually talking about Prop Talk. You get there two ways. It's either legitimate or everybody else is locked up and it's just dump off, and he gets to 50, but the Niners were never in the game. So it's possible they get there, but if I'm the Rams and that great defense that they have, I'd rather take away McCaffrey and say, okay, DeMarcus Robinson. And isn't it a revenge game for DeMarcus Robinson? He was on the Rams, right?
A couple teams ago, but yes.
But I'm saying
it's been a while, but he was on, I think, the Super Bowl Rams.
Yeah, I'm saying DeMarcus Robinson and those guys, you can go ahead. Kendrick Bourne. Let's have Mac Jones try to beat us there, and I'm crowding the line of scrimmage, and there's just not – if McCaffrey – if I'm the Rams, if McCaffrey is going to get those receiving yards on me, he's going to be running routes. It's not going to be from checkdowns.
My apologies. I was confusing him with Van Jefferson. Yes, this is a revenge game.
Van Jefferson is always either on the Steelers or the Rams. It doesn't matter.
Or that one random Falcons.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, this is a revenge game for Robinson, not Van Jefferson.
I'm telling you. And, first time you're going to see Kendrick Bourne with Mac Jones. Look, I wouldn't – 8.5 is a lot. You'd have to really spank a team. And 8.5 is a lot. You got nothing to lose. And Thursday games are weird. I'm not telling you to take the 8.5. But that's a lot of points. Thursday games are weird. And it's a division game as well. You'd really have to put the spanking on him.
I will say, though, that Greeny is conveniently leaving out one part of the Schefter theory of games that you think are going to be blowouts, which is when you think it either is closer than you think at the end or a complete shellacking, right?
Yeah.
There is the other end of the spectrum, which is this team did not belong out on the field and they just got spanked. Now, the difference I would say is the Niners actually still have, as many of them have gone out, the Niners still have all pro players on the field, whether it's Trent Williams or Christian McCaffrey or Fred Warner. They've still got a few great guys left, but there's just so many injuries that it just seems like they're running out of second string, an entire second string off, like a practice squad team.
Yeah, honestly, and obviously the line would be different, but you give them Jawan Jennings, and I think the Niners could pull it off. I just give them someone.
Okay.
Just someone.
I don't know how fast you can look at the prop talk, but if McCaffrey's at 50.5, how many of the Niners receivers tonight are over where McCaffrey's at?
And it just lit up. It just went up to 53.5.
53.5.
Christian McCaffrey.
They heard you. Your phone's listening to you.
Tongus is at 30.5, and he's a tight end.
Sure.
You got to scroll all the way down to get to the actual wide receivers.
Robinson.
Marcus Robinson is at 31.5.
So below McCaffrey.
Brian Robinson is at 24.5, but it's like a evil demon.
Yeah.
They're not even giving you a normal number because they just don't know what they're doing with Brian Robinson.
Any Kendrick Bourne?
Kendrick Bourne is at Kendrick Bourne is at 42.5.
So still below McCaffrey.
And Marquez Valdez-Scantling, again, they're not even offering a normal line because they just have no clue. It starts at 19.5. And it is an evil demon. That might be the play because he's got to throw to someone. It's just, honestly.
Yeah, but he can't catch. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Valdez-Scantling literally can't catch.
And I don't even see Sky Moore on. They don't even have Sky Moore.
No, Sky Moore is just going to return punts. That's all he's out there for. The three receivers tonight, if you had to pin me down on it as the Tigers score again, or sorry, it's the Guardians. But if you had to pin me down, I would say Bourne, Valdez-Scantling, and Robinson will be the three receivers with Tongus and McCaffrey.
I found Sky Moore. 9.5.
That's if your buddy out there is doing prop talk on Sky Moore receiving yards. Woof, it's.
I'll tell you what, and I'm looking here, and obviously we're actually going to do prop talk in the last segment. The easiest line today, Kyle. It's Puka Nacua 95.5 under.
Under.
If you believe the Niners are going to get smacked, there's no way Puka gets to 95 yards.
Or he gets it all on one play.
Or he either gets it in the shellacking, en route to the route, or there's just not enough time, and they just run the football because the Niners are just done.
Yeah, not to jump the gun on the prop talk, but like I imagine Kyron Williams is probably very high tonight on the Rams side because what do both of these teams love to do? Time of possession, time of possession, time of possession. I think that's going to be the big thing early on for the Rams is can we get an early lead? Can we keep that Niner defense on the field and essentially wear them out is kind of the idea. Because where you get in trouble is if you leave the Niners offense on the field. Because the thing that the Rams defense is very good, but the thing that they do great is pass rushing. Mm-hmm. So if the Niners can just run, that plays into what their strengths are because they still have Christian McCaffrey. But if they get down 10 points and have to pass, good luck, McCorkle, because Jared Verse and Young are coming for you.
Yeah, I don't know if worried is the right word, and obviously I like to have fun when talking about the Niners, but there is a level of this where the one thing we're not talking about, and this was the biggest question mark going into the season, is you're putting a lot of miles on Christian McCaffrey for ultimately no reason. There is a reason, obviously, but you're putting a lot of miles on Christian McCaffrey just to keep your head above water.
Okay, so like in a horror movie where going in that certain people are going to die, right? I'm not even saying
I don't know where this is going.
So, yes. So you're watching a horror movie and it's down to you start with 8 and you're down to 3.
Yeah.
And you're kind of saying to yourself, how did this ancillary character make it to the end? And it's usually because there's some reason.
Right.
I was watching that movie with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, The Death of the Unicorn. Mm-hmm. And it's not really a spoiler alert, but one of the characters who makes it to the end is the guy who plays Barry from, the guy who plays NoHo Hank in Barry. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, he's like a fourth character. Why is he still alive? Is Christian McCaffrey that right now for the Niners? Everyone's dropping, and we're like, why is Christian still here? Shouldn't he be on the IR by now?
Yeah, I just think it's a tough go because of who is getting injured specifically. It's one thing, Nick Bosa and guys like that, but because your wide receiver crew is so decimated, now Christian McCaffrey's your number one receiver on top of being your number one running back, which I think they're trying to implement Brian Robinson more. But this is just really tough sledding. for a guy who we had question marks about his health. And I guess the reason that he is still alive, if you will, to bring back
in
up
the
here,
49er horror movie.
it's just to add to his legacy, maybe, to add to the legend of Christian McCaffrey. Because, again, if they pull something like this off, you know Christian McCaffrey, unless it's one of those weird Thursday games where Demarcus Robinson has a revenge game and they end up just the Rams just were, too much dip on their chip. It's just a lot of mileage on McCaffrey, and you're not even walking away with W's. That's what the tough part is for me. And it's a long season, man. And they have no choice. We used to get on Kyle Shanahan for not mixing things up and putting too much on Christian McCaffrey when you had options. You had George Kittle. You had Debo last season. You didn't have Ayuk, but you've had Ayuk, Juwan Jennings. Now they don't have a choice. Yeah. Now they do not have a choice. And that's why people got on him, because there was maybe going to be a time where you didn't have a choice, and the time is here, and you've been putting mileage on him. So I know Christian McCaffrey is built for it, but you got to walk away. And here's the thing. Again, Thursday, short week, tons of McCaffrey. I think the Niners need to be very smart about tonight. If this thing gets to 2-touchdown area, sometimes you might just need to take your medicine. That's what I would say. On a short week, you're going to get the cavalry back, a lot of the cavalry back, and because of your mini bye. I would be very, very smart tonight and do not force it.
Well, that's kind of the thing with McCaffrey, right? Like, since when, as now Pearsall goes out and every Niner goes down, since when are we like, well, at least we have all reliable Christian McCaffrey still going? He could get hurt still. And that's kind of the point you're making, is like, he's not, you talk about him being built for it. I kind of feel like he was built to be the wide receiver 1 and RB1 6 or 7 years ago. He's had 3 season-ending injuries now.
3-4 years ago? Not like this, right? You know what it is? Not
where he's number 1 on Prop Talk for receiving yards.
Right. You know what it is? And this is a funny comparison, but honestly, it's like a DeMar DeRozan situation, right? DeMar, and I think Christian McCaffrey, they were expecting to use him more than DeMar was going to be used, but that's not necessarily, they didn't think that it was going to be this with McCaffrey at this age with the question marks that he's had. So that is where we're at. We have more Niners Rams coming up. Let's open up the phone lines, 916-339-1140. If Mac Jones pulls this off, are you in the camp that there should be a conversation? There are 53 million reasons why it shouldn't be. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, 49ers, Rams. Kickoff at 5:15 p.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
Your exclusive home for 49ers football.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
When I was in Iraq, our convoy was hit. It was bad. After I came home, I could still hear booms and see tracer fire. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
With help from DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Today, I'm part of DAV. We're veterans helping veterans to get the benefits they've earned. And I give my veterans my all.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Naomi Mathis, thank thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
It's taste on a whole new level at Sky River Casino. With 18 elevated restaurants, bars, and lounge destinations that include SR Prime Steakhouse, 32 Brews, Dragon Boat, and The Market. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun and experience the height of hospitality. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Get ready for 2 epic showdowns of Monster Truck Madness at the Stockton Dirt Track, Saturday, October 4th. Feel the roar, the power, and the ground-pounding action. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Do you have what it takes to survive the madness? Get your tickets now at StocktonDirtTrack.com.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Sacramento gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. When a spouse says, "Thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before," that's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
30 more minutes with you, talking some Niners. Obviously, we'll discuss the rest of this week in the NFL. Tomorrow, injury report. Brock Purdy, Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall, Jordan Watkins, Spencer Burford, and 2 offensive linemen out. Nick Bosa, Mustafa, C.J. West, D. Winters, Mikel Williams, Renardo Green. Nick Bosa, Mustafa, and C.J. West are out. D. Winters, Mikel Williams, Renardo Green, questionable. Okay, so the skill position players, McCaffrey, DeMarcus Robinson, Sky Moore, Kendrick Bourne, Marquez, Valdez-Scantling, Russell Gage, Jake Tonges. That's who the Niners have as they are taking on the Rams. And I got to say, I remember, and it's in L.A., and, hey, well, there's going to be more Niner fans there. Okay, cool. You know, Niner fans love to talk about that. And they're not wrong. There's a ton of Niner fans.
Do we think Niner fans are going to make the journey for Thursday?
Somebody always posts the whatever tick pick or whatever it is, and it said 60% Niners fans. I just think there's Niner fans down there. I don't know if they're driving down there, especially on a Thursday. I just think they're already down there.
I don't know. I think there's probably a bunch of people that took the day off and are going to L.A., but yeah, there's probably a lot of Bay Area people in Los Angeles.
Well, I think also you go back to the Rams in St. Louis and obviously the Chargers in San Diego. I just think that there were, and then the Raiders were there, then they left. I just think if you look at the proximity, there's just a lot of Niner fans in L.A.
I think the Rams are kind of building a little bit, though, of a fan base.
No, I mean, they won a Super Bowl, sure.
Yeah, part of that is just being good, right? Like the Chargers, it's weird to say. The Chargers have been there for 8 years now and just have no fan base.
That'd be good. They got that one. They got that one lady.
Yeah, they got the one lady who, by the way, you were gone for this, but the YouTube game in Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
They brought that lady
Yeah.
back to get something with Mr. Beast shooting people out of a cannon.
It was crazy.
Yeah. What the heck? That was the only Charger fan they could find was that lady.
Yeah.
Because they dragged her back out there to do whatever Mr. Beast challenge.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was bizarre stuff. You know what else could be considered bizarre? This is from front office, or this is from On 3 Sports. Executives are inching closer to an agreement to expand the NCAA tournament to 76 teams with a 12-game opening round played at 2 sites starting in 2026-2027, which is not around the corner, but that would be not this upcoming season, but next season. Kyle, do we have from the morning show, do we have the cash grab drop available? Because that's what this is.
Well, I don't even think it's a cash grab at this point necessarily. It is, we got to pay out $1 billion lawsuit. We need some money.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
No, they're broke, and they have to pay, I think it was $2.8 billion.
These games are going to be so bad. So bad.
I'm not even going to say bad, just disinteresting.
No, they will be bad.
Well, you don't want to get all the mid-majors out early.
Right. I mean, it helps Temple, right? Because it helps my alma mater, because Lord knows they've been struggling, and they've been in the opening round a couple different times, the first 4. Hey, help Sac State. Cash grab. Thank you.
There we go. Verlad's thing, there's like 1,000 buttons on here. I can't even read this.
That helps Sac State, gives them an opportunity. UC Davis, right? Some of these smaller schools, San Jose State.
See, no, I disagree, because the mid-majors are just going to get shoved into this first round. That's not even going to be part of the real tournament.
But they may not. But I'm talking about teams that didn't win their. Well, they're probably just going to give them to bigger conferences.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So now the 7th seed from the
17th
SEC, right, is getting into this first random round.
It's probably like the 14th now.
I'm off of it. The
NCAA, again, I just kind of threw out numbers, but the House settlement, which is not the House of Representatives, there's a guy named House who was suing the NCAA over not paying athletes in the past, led to them having to pay out $2.8 billion over the next 10 years to former players for like past NIL compensation. And the NCAA literally had to do it over 10 years because they would have had to file for bankruptcy if they hadn't done that. The NCAA needs cash desperately. And so they're trying to add more games to the NCAA tournament because it's the only way they make money is from the men's and women's basketball tournaments. They don't make any money from college football anymore. Those are the conferences that organize the college football playoff. Their only way to make money is the NCAA tournament, and they just have to add more games because they have to pay out their billions of dollars in settlement money.
It's just, I mean, there was something about, and I know it might be get off my lawn, but there was something about the 64. It really meant something. You got to win. Right, you're watching on Selection or the day before Selection Sunday, and it's, I don't know, Iona beating some other random team in what looks to be a high school gym. And if they don't win, they're not getting in. And still, that part probably won't change.
That's not going to change. The difference is the first day of the ACC tournament is like, well, this 11 seed could win and get a guaranteed spot.
Yeah. So I don't like it, but I came across it, and there we are. Kyle, all right, it's time for our picks for tonight's game. You have the Niners, 8.5-point underdogs in LA, as they call it, Levi South. 60% Niner fans will be there. You got Mac Attack. Now, we're doing this, hold on. We're doing this to cover, not to win.
Yeah.
We're doing this to cover.
Yeah, the Rams are probably going to win. I think McCorkle will have 90 seconds to go 85 yards with no timeouts is basically the question.
Yeah.
Do I think they're going to get the ball back with 20 seconds left and Mac Jones has to do pitchy woo-woo at the end of the game? Yeah, what the heck? I'll say the Niners cover.
Not only do the Niners cover, they go in to the Los Angeles Tundra in the swamp
of SoFi Field.
Of SoFi Stadium with Jake Tonjes, with Sky Moore. It's a revenge game for Demarcus Robinson.
The receivers Mahomes said were too trash to play for him.
Mac Jones can make $75 million if he plays well today and we never see him again.
With a PCL injury.
Kyle Shanahan, 7-3 against the Rams these last 10 games.
Ignore that 2021 NFC Championship game.
They know exactly what they want to do and how they want to do it. Mac Jones is but a vessel for Kyle Shanahan, and they will figure this thing out together. Christian McCaffrey playing like the best running back and best receiver in the game right now.
And maybe best tight end.
For your San Francisco 49ers. 8.5, 9.5, 10.5. It doesn't matter. Give me the Niners, not just to cover, to win. And I'm going to find that 916 number from earlier today, and we're going to have the conversation. Did the Niners pay Brock Purdy too much money? And is Mac Jones coming for the top? That's what's going to happen, or they're going to lose by 25. It's those two options for me, Kyle. It's those two options.
I will say... if McCorkle wins tonight, if I'm the Jets, you could do worse, right? It's just going to be all bootleg play actions.
Jets, Panthers.
I was also thinking about this the other day. Aren't all these Shanahan assistants going to get fired too? Like McDaniel? Is it Bobby Slowick's got to be out there somewhere?
You know what? Honestly, yeah, I'll say it. Somebody put it on the text line earlier. Mac Jones win this game. Get him on the first flight to Vegas. Gino, I'm tired of you rolling the dice. You stink. You keep rolling snake eyes. I don't want to see it anymore. Mac Jones wins tonight. First flight to Vegas.
No, this is what I want to see now. So Shanahan loves doing the zone reads and the play actions. And it's the thing Mac Jones does so well. I want to see his first game on the Raiders. The stadium where maybe the funniest thing ever happened, where they did the Chandler Jones pitch and Chandler Jones just spiked Mac Jones into the ground before returning it. I want Mac Jones to run a play action with Ashton Genty, first play of the season, and just get immediately blindsided because no one's blocking for him.
You know what I'm ready to see? Mac Jones in a dome. Brock Bowers. Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton, Jacoby Myers. If he wins tonight, the next flight, Pete Carroll, Tom Brady, make it happen. On the other side, Whitey Gleason joins us. We got a little prop talk as well. It's a very difficult prop talk. I might stay away from it, but we ain't going to stay away from it. It's the first prop talk since I've returned. Don't move. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, 49ers, Rams. Kickoff at 5:15 p.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
Your exclusive home for 49ers football.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Until 11/1, select models only.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy plates, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's best Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all. Model year-end savings are going on now. Drive away in your favorite Honda. It's savings you just can't say no to. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
A men's health moment with Revive Men's Health.
Low testosterone can impact your energy, muscle tone, focus, and mood. A free testosterone check and personalized treatment plan from Revive Men's Health can help you feel like yourself again.
Learn more at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Coach, so we're going to get to that, Whitey, but first we got a little bit of prop talk, and I'm going to let everyone in. I shouldn't be letting everyone in on a secret, but I've been red hot, and it's easy to be red hot.
Your friend.
My friend has been red hot. I've been red hot in my mind, right? But my friend has been, I've been helping out my friend, and it's a very simple system. There's two systems, right? The first system is on Sunday. I'm telling you right now, everybody gets on check down Charlie. Running back receiving yards is the moneymaker. Running back receiving yards and tight ends. That's where I live. That's where I breathe. Okay, the other place where I've lived and breathed, under on the highest receiver when that number is just absurd. Okay, that's why this Puka, as good as he's been, 95.5 in a 8.5 game, 8.5 spread game. If you think the Rams are going to win, there just might not be time for Puka to get there. It might just not be necessary. So we don't normally do unders on this show. So I'm not going to do unders. And the other thing that I typically take if it's a single game situation, or my buddy typically takes in a single game situation, if it's a good number, I love the secondary receiver. So that's why, Kyle, today I am not taking Christian McCaffrey receiving yards. 53.5 is just too many, and I just think the Rams are going to say somebody else beat us.
So secondary receiver Kyle Juszczyk.
Well, he's at 9.5. And what I also like, last thing, and then I'll give my pick. I also like, if there's a game you think a team is going to lose and you think that the defense is going to take away their main, look at the secondary receiver. And I say all this as if I'm some guru now, Whitey, but if my friend could tell you how, and well, to be honest, my friend did very well because the Cowboys-Packer game went into overtime. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
But now he's a guru. And with that being said, give me DeMarcus Robinson revenge game, 30.5 receiving yards. It's about 4 catches.
Oh, I like that a lot.
You're going to take away McCaffrey just scares me, and the other receivers, I can't do Kendrick Bourne at 42.5. I cannot do that. So, and really, I guess based on that, DeMarcus Robinson is the third receiver based on the numbers, if you're counting McCaffrey. So give me DeMarcus Robinson revenge game, 30.5. I feel really good about that.
I think that is a very solid strategy, but you're the expert on this, so of course.
Well, your friend is.
My friend.
Where's your friend?
Your friend is an expert.
My friend, Schmallen Miles. That's his name. Okay. Schmallen Miles. He's a great guy.
Would Schmallen be taking the under on Bourne? Isn't that kind of the philosophy you were just...
Yeah, they're not both going to get there.
Yeah.
So I see Whitey gets it.
Yeah, I do.
Because I would just stay away from McCaffrey because you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious, not on the numbers or yards or whatever, but he's at 16 rush attempts and 7 receptions. So do we think he gets 23 touches in the game? Ignore the yards. 23 over under touches.
I don't see... The problem is with receptions, McCaffrey could stack up receptions and they go nowhere. That's what scares me about 7.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying you don't got to pay attention to the yardage.
Yeah.
It's more so because yardage is, it'll be what it is. This is more so the philosophy they go into it with. Will he touch the ball 23 times out of 70 plays?
They're going to let him try. I think the other thing is if you think the Rams are going to take care of business, you might not be rushing McCaffrey as much. And you are going to see more Brian Robinson, I just think, in general. I'm just staying away from McCaffrey. I'm staying away from him.
I kind of tend to agree. I'm also just staying away from the Niners offense in general, unless you believe that Marquez Valdez-Scantling is going to get 1 catch for 20 yards.
Yeah. Or, Marquez or Sky Moore at 9.5. Just do it.
No.
I can't wait to hear you tomorrow talking about the quarterback controversy. Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, or Adrian Martinez.
Let's go.
Who's active tonight?
Come on. This is where I do my best work, Whitey. These last couple seasons has been Brock. Because back when we were in the Bay, this is where it's time to cook.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, the Trey area. This is where we go, baby.
You needed a Nick Mullins in your life, and now you have it with Adrian Martinez.
Literally. So, Kyle, what are you going with?
Other than Marquez Valdez-Scantling to get 1 random 20-yard catch. He's good for it every now and again. You never know when it's coming. But other than that, funny one, Mac Jones, 5.5 rushing yards tonight.
You taking it?
I don't know, but it's funny. Also, this is a fascinating one that I thought about. We've covered all the ground on this. I'm not going to rehash it, but Piñeiro's at 7 points kicking wise.
Yeah, I never do kickers.
Yeah, but do we think Piñeiro's going to be kicking field goals?
No, I would say no. I would think no. If you think they're going to get down big, right?
Well, given they can't do anything in the red zone and they can't run the ball.
Yeah, early. You better get them early. You better get them in that first half.
Get into the red zone, but not do anything once you're in the red zone. They also have it set, just to Whitey's point, at 2.5 field goals made. Mm-hmm. So they're saying Piñeiro, it's usually 1.5. I just see 2.5, and it's got the little red devil thing, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
My other rule if I am going to take a receiver,
your rule or your friend's rule?
I have rules. I don't.
Yeah, I was just
embark.
clarifying.
I don't. Do them.
What does Miles think?
Miles always tells me, if you're going to take a receiver, you better take it on a team where it's very traditional, just the one and 2 receivers. I can't stand the Rams because they have 8,000 receivers, right? The Falcons, can't do it. It's a crapshoot. You don't know who's going to go off for them.
What are you talking about? The Rams used to have 1,000 receivers. Now it's just Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams.
They have all of them, but they don't necessarily. That's why I don't like the Rams.
Who are these other receivers you speak of?
Tutu Atwell.
Is he still there?
Tutu?
Yeah, he had a huge touchdown last week.
And then that ticks me off because he could have taken Whitey.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 numbers for you.
Okay.
Let me know. And you know what's staring me in the face that I told you. Kyron Williams, 9.5 receiving. Check down Charlie, but Whitey. Okay, we have Devontae Adams at 60.5.
At 60.5?
60.5, and of course Puka at 95.5. Would you go over on either of them? Would you just stay away from both of them?
Devontae Adams, I'd go over.
Okay, you're staying away from Puka.
I think so.
It's too high.
95.5 is crazy, but he's the leading receiver in the NFL this year.
And he's always open. That dude is always open.
Because it's just all screens and short yardage. He kind of does the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing, which is not a slight. He's very good, but it's...
This will be a real test of the young 49er defense and secondary. By the way, Dylan Dingler hit a dingler. Detroit's winning now. 2-1. Sorry. Didn't mean to break up the conversation, but...
See, but the thing is, that's safer than trying to say the Yankees starting pitcher
Oh,
tonight.
man, I'm not saying it. I don't care how many times he pitches. I'm just not saying it on the air.
No, I mean, you just got to be careful. Cam Schlittler.
Mm-mm.
Well done right there.
Look, I just got back, man. I'm not doing Whitey, what's coming up on the show today?
Unfortunately, a shorter show today because, as you know, we'll be broadcasting the 49ers and the Rams. So we'll look at how and where the 49ers actually have a chance to beat the Rams. You look at these matchups, there's something's like, hey, there may be something there for the 49ers. We'll see if we can't find that, and we'll share that with you.
It's Christian McCaffrey goes crazy. Goes crazy. Back in the day, one of Christian McCaffrey's first games, wasn't that his Boobie Miles game? Christian McCaffrey, where he caught one, he ran for one. I don't know. If
you mean against the Rams?
I thought it was against the Rams.
I think his first game was Kansas City, and that was But then they destroyed the Rams.
Yeah, that was his Boobie Miles game.
Yeah,
he did it all. So maybe they could do it again. All right, Whitey. Before I get on out of here, not sure if you caught our conversation about what Domantas Sabonis had to say, or just your thoughts on it.
I listen to the show every day, but I did not hear that conversation.
Yeah, basically, Domantas Sabonis said that it was, this is been a very strict training camp so far, and Kyle found a different, even deeper note where he talked about accountability, talked a good bit about accountability and the values that are being instilled, and it sounded like a bit of a shot at, we were trying to decide if it was at Mike Brown or De'Aaron Fox, but ultimately both.
Yeah, I know that since he got here, Scott Perry's been talking a lot about accountability, and I'm wondering, who were they talking about? Who wasn't accountable last year?
Right, because how could you say Mike Brown wasn't he's just the coach, right? And I do think that it was a bit of De'Aaron Fox, who, by the way, will not be on the court with the Spurs. I saw their media day
injured his
pictures.
hammy, right?
Yeah, will not be on the court to start this season. Well, Whitey Gleason will be on the mic.
Yes, right.
To start and end the Drive guys, Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Thank you to all the callers, texters, Sack Chatters. Thank you to Kyle as always. Until tomorrow, it'll be Friday. Secure the bag. Like the beam.
Like the beam.
Beam Man signing off. Don't forget my podcast.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe.